And from coast to coast, it's hockey night in Canada.
What a great, great feeling, what a wonderful sense of sheer enjoyment and of confidence. For there's something you're aware of, your car's been taken care of at the SO sign of confidence at the Happy Motoring sign.
Imperial Oil, on behalf of Esso dealers and agents everywhere in Canada, bring you the fifth game in the Stanley Cup Finals between the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs. Direct from the Forum in Montreal. And here's Danny Gallivan.
Good evening, hockey fans. This is Danny Gallivan with Frank Selke Jr. greeting you once again from our broadcast spot high above center ice on the catwalk at the Montreal Forum. The Montreal Forum, scene of tonight's fifth Stanley Cup Final Series game between the Montreal Canadiens and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And this game, as most of you who have been following the series know, is a must game. In other words, one team could win the Stanley Cup tonight, and that one team, the Montreal Canadiens, because they have a 3-1 lead in games in the series. So the Toronto Maple Leafs, who have been a team of destiny, the Cinderella team of hockey since back particularly on the night of March the 14th when they started that surge for a playoff berth, and they made it and then won the series against Boston. That club, the Toronto Maple Leafs, have their backs against the wall tonight, and they must win it to prolong it. And should they win this series game here tonight, then a sixth game will be played at the Gardens in Toronto on Tuesday. And should the Leafs win that one too, then it will mean that a seventh and final game will be played here in Montreal on Thursday night. The officials tonight, the referee, Eddie Powers, the linesman, George Hayes, and Art Skoll. Canadians will defend the area to our right, which is the north end of the Montreal Forum, and the Toronto Maple Leafs, the area to our left, the south end. The Maple Leafs in the light uniforms, Montreal Canadiens in the dark. And the crowd still filing in here. And now we'll have our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Changes. None that I can see at this moment, Danny, except, of course, that Morris the Rocket Richard is in uniform, and while he's going to open this game, sitting on the bench, Toe Blake has stated very definitely that Rocket is not here for the ride. He is going to play tonight. So we're just about ready to go in game number 5, and here is Danny.
Toronto Maple Leafs with Olmstead on left wing, number 20, Fulford at center, Stewart number 12 on right wing. Canadians with Goyette, Provo, and Pronovo. The Leafs take over. Olmstead at his own line, losing it offside against the Montreal Canadiens as Provo poked that puck in there. And Goyette was already well across the Toronto line. Referee Eddie Powers with Art Skoll and George Hayes, the linesman. We've just started here in the fifth game. It goes to Stanley, who cleared it up on the left wing boards down the ice, and Doug Harvey digs back there for the Canadians, and the Leafs are called for icing. Face-off will go down into the south end to the left of Bauer. That's George Hayes, number 9, skating down there. And he is, besides being a very competent official, one of the best skaters among the officials in the National Hockey League, George Hayes. Canadians every man up. Stanley against Goyette. The puck is loose to Provo. He takes a chop at it. It bounces in the air to the side of the Leaf net. It's Horton digging from the corner, stick handling it away from Pronovo, clearing it out to center. broken up. It's Horton again, down with Fulford in on the line. Horton a backhand drive wide of the target. Now he tries to dig it out. Into the corner, it's Turner starting out down the left wing. A bouncing puck, he bats it out and it's cleared in by Horton. Harvey had it go by him. Harvey around the net being watched by Fulford. Canadiens defenseman taking his time. There's no score here in the early minutes of the opening period. Olmsted, number 16 on the left wing, a right wing pass to Stewart, going in for the shot, and he was away wide on the far side. Olmsted clearing it in on the boards, and that's Doug Harvey, number 2 for Montreal, out on the right wing to Provo. He's down at center to Goyette, who takes it across the Toronto line, over to Pronovo, and he goes to the corner, couldn't get it. They center it right in front, and Olmsted starting out, a pass to Bobby Fulford. Turner broke it up. Stanley recovering ahead to Olmsted to the Canadian line, turning around. Knocked away from him and Provo. To Phil Goyette. Goyette to the Toronto line. Going in a pass. Turner couldn't get the shot as Stanley blocked him and now boards him in the corner. And the play is whistled down for a face-off in deep Toronto territory. And a change for the Leafs and for the Canadiens. No score.
Any thoughts that this may have been a tight hockey game have been dispersed this early in the game. It's opened up very quickly on a fast, wide-open pace. And let's see what happens here with Backstrom, Geoffrion, and McDonald out for the Canadiens. Armstrong with Duff and Regan for the Leafs.
Canadiens, every man up to the face-off. It goes to Regan. Regan working his way out, a pass to Dickie Duff. Duff turns around. The pass on Geoffrion's stick. He takes a sliding shot. Bauer stopped it and cleared it. Brewer, number 18, knocked down, a penalty near to Backstrom. Backstrom going off for Montreal. Cross-checking, I believe, will be the charge. And so the Toronto Maple Leafs get the first advantage, the first break in the hockey game, as Backstrom is penalized likely for cross-checking Brewer.
2 minutes pour cross-checking. Le temps 1 minute 44 secondes. Canadien penalty, Ralph Backstrom, 2 minutes for cross-checking. The time, 1 minute and 44 seconds.
A minute and 44 seconds in the opening period, and now the Leafs with the odd man advantage have Olmsted, Mahovely, Geeman, Armstrong, and Brewer. A pass to 17, Eamon. He cleared it into Olmsted across the line. Johnson fires it down to center, and it's Brewer recovering for Toronto to Eamon. A backhand drive to the corner, Harvey for Montreal. He gets it up there among the lights. Where is it going to come down? At center ice. Armstrong on the right side for Toronto, cleared it over, and Turner knocked it to center. Brewer faked his shot, circles around to get away from Turner. Now he goes to the Montreal line off Donnie Marshall's stick. Back to Armstrong. Armstrong working on the right side to the Canadian line. He gets in, he takes his shot, and a routine save for Plante. Into the corner, Eamon getting it. He's getting set to center it out. It's knocked back, and Doug Harvey tried to clear it. A bouncing puck in the corner. Eamon tying up Harvey and knocking him down. They fight for possession. There's Big Mahovlich, who is prostrate on the ice, and he's going to get a penalty. Probably high sticking. Mahovlich does not like that call, and he's been warned now by referee Eddie Powers. In fact, Backstrom was also warned by Powers when he went off, as he started to say something, and the warning, of course, just an indication that if there's more talk, conceivably there could be a misconduct. So they're now playing 5 aside. There's no score. Now Dickie Moore in the corner, tries to center it. 2 minutes and 44 seconds. A cross-checking penalty to Mahovlich, and there are now 40 seconds remaining in the penalty to Backstrom. No score here in the first period. They're playing 5 aside. Stanley in his own zone out on the right wing to Stewart, who circles around. Ahead, a pass grabbed off by the pocket. He turns at his own line, getting away from Fulford through center ice. He still has it. Across the leaf line, a backhand drive right on. And Bauer holds for a face-off in deep Toronto territory.
He just had a perfect picture of that little fella, Henry Richard. The way he can skate with players practically draped on him is unbelievable. He just dipsy-doodled his way into the lead end there. And Ralph Backstrom at the penalty box is about set to come out. Young Richard, certainly one of the most spectacular players and a brilliant skater.
Ralph Backstrom has 14 seconds remaining in his penalty. The Canadians have McDonald and Jeffrey on out there. Now they're sending Moore in place of McDonald, who skates off. Stewart and Fulford up front for the Leafs. Vaughn on defense with Brewer. On the face-off, it's back to the point. Albert got it over, but it couldn't be knocked down by Jeffrey. On him behind the net is Brewer. Brewer of the Leafs is twisting and turning. Moore is trying to get him now off the boards. It's taken by Talbot into the corner to Moore. Back on the boards to the point to Talbot. He's closing into the shot, and it was stopped by Brewer. Now Backstrom is back on. Here's Vaughn, bodied by Jeffrey on. Canadians Backstrom at the side, takes the shot. A scramble. Backstrom again around the net. He's knocked down, gets up, back to the point to Talbot. Into Jeffrey on the Moore. Moore goes to the corner after it. He centers it to Jeffrey on, and he was off the target. Vaughn and Jeffrey on are mixing it up. Here's Ralph Backstrom going in, he scores! Backstrom, a standout in the series, was all hustle, was able to get in and fired it to the upper left-hand corner. And Frank, I'll bet they're jumping with joy in Kirkland Lake at the moment.
They're jumping with joy right here as Ralph Backstrom picks up his third playoff goal. And Punch Himlock, not too pleased with it, giving some instructions to his Leaf defense players.
Canadien goal scored by Ralph Backstrom, assist, Champollion and Moore. The time, 4 minutes and 13 seconds.
4 minutes and 13 seconds, the time of the goal in the first period. Now the Leafs starting out. Dickie Duff out on the right wing at center ice. Runs into Talbot, and the puck goes flying in among the ringside seat spectators to the right of the Leaf bench. 1-0 to score. Ralph Backstrom getting the goal, his third of playoff competition. Jeffrey on and Moore assisting at 4:13 in the opening period. Duff playing it back to Horton. Horton has played terrific hockey for the Leafs in this series. A backhand drive off the boards. Harvey for Montreal playing it on the boards again on the right point. Out comes Provo at center, going to the Leaf line, cutting in on this side. Armstrong covering up in the corner against Cronenwald. They jam in on the boards. Goyette taken on the play. And it's Horton out on the left side to Duff. He's down at center to Regan, who took it neatly off his skate and passed it right on Goyette. Duff and Goyette fell down. Canadians back. Provo across the line. Takes that quick shot. And a great save by Bauer. Into the corner off the boards. Number 10 for Toronto, Armstrong. Out to Duff. Duff stopped by Provo, who hit Art Skov with that drive at the Toronto blue line. Stanley. His pass grabbed by Turner, coming in offside as Goyette tried frantically to get out of the Toronto zone. 1-0 to score in the first period. Canadians won and the Leafs nothing. And although Canadians lead in this series 3-1, it has not been by any stretch of the imagination a one-sided series. Every game has gone right down to the wire. And these two great teams, the Maple Leafs and the Canadiens, have treated the fans to outstanding hockey in this series. Now Canadians coming in. Moore over the top of it in front. And they rattle that one off the goalpost. Now here comes Eamon out over the line, and the pass grabbed by Moore. Brewer recovering for the Leafs. He's coming up. Goes in on the right wing boards with pocket Richard. Belted now by Turner as they jam on the boards. And Mahovlich kicked it ahead, but the whistle had gone, stopping the play. We've played exactly 6 minutes in this, the first period. Montreal Canadiens 1. Toronto Maple Leafs no score. Marcel Bonin, he shot, gets it again, fires it in on the left wing. Brewer around the net. Left wing pass to Big Mahovlich. He's out over the line. Gives it to Willie Hurst. Back to Mahovlich, and he was out of position. Now it's Pocket Richard on a pass from Harvey. In on the line. A drop pass to Bonin. Going in for the shot. The rebound in front. And Bauer on a bouncing puck. Got it. And Bauer has been a magnificent figure in this series for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He has been terrific. And you know, in that series against Boston, it was Bauer who made that tremendous save in the overtime off Spezia. And then the Leafs came on to win that one. And eventually went on to win that series and come into this final round against the Canadiens. Well, Bauer has been a big man. Now the Leafs at center, Backstrom breaking it up. He's in on the right side, digs to the corner, he centered it out, comes out to the side of the net. Now McDonald couldn't get it, and Stanley cleared it to Olmstead. Olmstead firing it through an opening down the ice. Talbot in fairly deep Montreal territory. Now he's behind the net. Taking his time. Pass to Geoffrion. Geoffrion, Backstrom, and McDonald, the three of them at center. Geoffrion weaving over the right side. A hard shot, high and wide. Backstrom trying to center it off the board. Take it in on the board. Popert was in there to jam. Stewart had tied Backstrom up. And now they'll face off in Toronto's zone. Canadiens 1. And the Leafs no score. And we're nearing the 8th minute mark in the first period. Horton on the right side, up to Stewart. Stewart couldn't clear it out. Now Horton recovers. Gets away from Backstrom beautifully. At center to the Canadian line. A hard shot waist high. Cleared into the corner by Plante. Talbot has it on the board. At the point, there's a shot right on by Horton, and he almost tied it up on that. Beautiful drive by Horton. Now Canadians dump it out to center. Stanley of the Leafs to Olmstead on the left wing, going in for the shot. Plante clearing it to Geoffrion. Jammed out of the play by Stewart behind the net, and Talbot gets in there that extra shove. And the face-off will be to the right of Plante.
It would appear early in the game here, Danny, that we're in for another treat of spectacular goaltending, just as we have in the past 4 games. We've seen Bauer make 2 or 3 spectacular saves so far tonight. Plante just came up with one on a sizzler by Tim Horton from the blue line, on which he appeared to be screened, but he made the save, and it's 1-0 for Canadians.
Doug Harvey circling in his own zone. Now he comes right across the goal mouth. The pass off the boards. Pronovo cleared it out. Broken up by Bond to Armstrong. Armstrong going to the line. Jammed out of the play, and a delayed offside whistle. Regan had been in there. And then when Armstrong made contact the second time, that necessitated a whistle. The weather in Montreal tonight, it's cloudy. Temperature about 58 degrees. So it's fairly warm for hockey, and no doubt it's warm down there on the ice. Doug Harvey from center takes his time. A right wing pass to Provo, belted hard by Brewer. Now Brewer cleared it out over the line to Regan. Regan coming down with Armstrong, who takes the right wing pass, going in for the shot. A sizzler right on, and Plante sat down. The big chief, Armstrong, testing Plante with a hard shot. We're nearing the 9th minute mark. First period, 1-0 the score. Canadiens 1, and the Leafs nothing. The goal by Ralph Backstrom. Pronovo fails to clear it out. Bond flipped it in as it just got across that blue line. So, linesman George Hayes lining him up again. The latest date that the Stanley Cup has been decided, April 23rd. That back in 1950. when Detroit defeated New York Rangers in overtime. And if this series goes the limit of 7 games, then the 7th would be played on the 23rd, a similar late date. Pocket Richard takes the pass across the Leaf line on the right side, digging toward the corner, trying to get in front. He centers it. Down on the ice is Horton. Horton is up. Now he's starting out. Cleared it to the point. Henry Richard stopping it into Dickie Moore. Dickie Moore working into Bonnet, and he overshot it. Here's Harris coming out for the Leafs. The pass goes to center ice. Mahovlich couldn't get anywhere against Pocket Richard. He's coming back into Moore, going in for the shot, the rebound. And Bauer kicked out too beautifully. There's another shot by Talbot. Stanley firing it out over the line. Talbot cleared it back in offside. And Frank, Mr. Bauer, is still the hot Johnny.
He's had a tremendous series, Danny, and a tremendous playoff against both Boston and Montreal. I think that at times this season a great many people were curious as to whether Bauer was a National League goaltender or not. It would seem that in the last 11 or 12 games for the Leafs, he has certainly proven himself a great star.
1-0 the score. Montreal 1. Toronto no score, and we're nearing the 10th minute mark in the first period. Moore fired it to center ice. It's Stanley clearing a pass to Horton, number 7, up to Eamon, who fired it in. Here's Harris trying to catch up with it. He couldn't center it out. Back into the corner against Johnson. In on the boards. Moore takes it. Moore for Montreal. Up on the left wing. Horton stops it. There's a shot right on again. And oh, how Plum saw that one. That's the second time Horton has always put it in. Now they jam at it. Mahovlich at the side of the net again. Plum is down. Puck is loose in front of the net, and Plum finally got it. And the Leafs came close on 3 occasions there to tying it up. Cole Blake is making changes. Harvey is coming on defense with Turner. As the Leafs send every man up for the face-off to the left of Jacques Plante. 9 minutes and 40 seconds have gone by in this period. Players skate out of position, so they're going to do it all over again. Harris is facing off against Pocket. It goes back to Stanley, who cleared it to the corner to Eamon. Harvey is after him, bodies him in on the boards. Bonnet takes it. Here's Horton winding up again, and the shot went off. Bonnet escaped back into the center ice area, and Stanley of the Leafs fakes a pass. Cleared it up on the left wing. Harvey taking over for Montreal. Played it out. Moore left it there for Henry Richard. Down with Bonnet. A drop pass. Bonnet to Moore. And the Leafs start out. Mahovlich coming up with Harris, who takes the pass. Harris over the line. And as he made that turn, he made the shift outside the line, and that made Mahovlich an offside victim. Change for both teams. Canadians are sending out Backstrom, McDonald, and Jeffrey on. That was the line that ignited the Canadian cause in Toronto on Thursday night, counting for all 3 goals after the Leafs took the 1-0 lead. Stewart is on with Olmstead, and Pulford going in for the shot. Wide. Olmstead the rebound. Right on the short side. And Plante closes his pads on it. Pulford and Harvey started to shove each other, but nothing of a serious nature developed on that. We may have penalties, however. So Eddie Powers ruling with an iron hand here in the early stages of the game, giving what could conceivably be high sticking penalties. We wait for the announcement, however. Pulford of Toronto and Harvey of Montreal.
The second penalties for each team tonight. Canadians had a previous penalty to Backstrom. The Leafs one to Mahovlich. The penalty to Mahovlich, a costly one, as Backstrom scored while Mahovlich was in the penalty box. There's the announcement now.
The penalties to Toronto, Bob Pulford, to Canadiens, Doug Harvey, 2 minutes each for high stick. The time, 10 minutes and 24 seconds.
10 minutes and 24 seconds, the time of the high sticking penalties to Pulford of the Leafs and Harvey of the Canadiens. So they now play 5 aside, and it's 1-0. with the Canadiens leading the Leafs in the first period. Jeffrey on around the net. Olmsted is watching him. Jeffrey on coming out now with Backstrom at center. A long sliding shot. Rebound to Olmsted, number 16. He's being watched by Jeffrey on and Backstrom taking it on the board. Jeffrey on finishes it out. And Stanley coming out. Stanley ahead to Olmsted, down with Stewart. Olmsted across the line. The shot off Johnson's stick into the corner. Olmsted trying to center it. He still has it. Back, and it's intercepted by Jeffrey on, and he ran into Stanley. Here's Backstrom coming down with Talbot. Backstrom going in. He shoots it. Oh, Bauer. Bauer took a swipe at Talbot that time as Talbot checked him after Bauer pulled off a great save on the short side on Backstrom. Olmsted and Jeffrey on tie each other up at the Leaf line. Backstrom skating furiously for the Canadiens tonight. Picked up the puck after Jeffrey on had really been bodied as he tried to get out of his own zone. It was Alan Stanley who nailed Jeffrey on. A minute and 15 seconds remaining now in the penalties. First period, 1-0 to score with the Canadiens leading the Leafs. Armstrong, number 10, a long pass over. He got it going in and goal, and Plante comes to the mat. A sensational bang-bang play all the way with the pass beautifully executed by Armstrong to Duff, and a hard shot by Duff. Plante seems to be shaken up as he stopped it, and he had to be at his best to get it. It was on the short side at a sharp angle, but it was labeled. So Jacques Plante, who like Bauer has been sensational in playoff hockey, is now taking a respite. Seemed to have his wind knocked out momentarily. And the game is held up for the nonce. 1-0 to score. Canadiens won and the Leafs no score.
Plante taking a breather, and a deserved one, I think we could say, because it would now appear that he's heading towards the bench. He took that bullet drive from the stick of Dickie Duff right in the pit of the stomach, and it would appear has lost his wind. And I think we could point out at this time that Jock is... Here's Bunchifok watching Jock skate over, shaking his head. I think we could point out that Plante is giving the Canadiens the same type of goaltending tonight as he did in the first two periods in Toronto on Thursday. Toe Blake pointed out on Wednesday between games in Toronto that goaltending would be the key to the series, and in the fourth game in Toronto, it was Plante's spectacular work through the first 40 minutes that broke the Leafs' hearts, as they definitely outplayed the Canadiens through most of the first two periods, but just couldn't score. Plante made the big saves. He came up with the type of hockey that Bauer has been playing fairly consistently through the series for the Leafs, and the young Maple Leafs just couldn't pierce his armor. And when they finally did in the third period to take the 1-0 lead, they seemed to have worked so hard up to that point to get a goal that they ran out of steam, and Canadiens came on very strongly to win that game 3-1. But Plante was the key figure, and up to this point here tonight, he has made about 4 very big saves from the sticks of the Maple Leafs. It's about ready to go, and here again is Danny.
A minute and 14 seconds left in the penalties to Harvey and Fulford. Leafs every man up. They trail in the game 1-0. Comes back to Brewery, winds up for the shot knee high. Plante grabbing it. Now Talbot around the net. He's coming out for the Canadiens. Hits his own line. A pass to Provo on the right side to the Leaf line. An easy shot. Brewer taking over for the Leafs. Now a pass up on the right wing to Armstrong. At center to the Canadian line. Drifts his shot and the rebound. Plante gives it to Johnson. Johnson up on the right wing. Now here's Donnie Marshall. Couldn't get away from Brewer, a loose puck. And Marshall gets it a second time, just turns around, dumped a long shot. And these bouncing shots can be very, very dangerous, and Bauer took no chances with that one. It's Vaughn on the boards, firing it to the corner to Dickie Duff. Duff trying to get away. He does get away from 2. Marshall and Provo at center ice to the Canadian line. Over to Armstrong. Armstrong fakes the shot. Back to Bobby Vaughn. A screen shot. Here's Talbot coming out with Provo. They go to the Leaf line to Provo. Provo near the corner, takes the shot right on from a sharp angle, and Bauer had to be alert on it. Now the penalized players are back on. Johnson shoots, and it's knocked down in front by Brewer. Brewer out for Toronto with Fulford and Armstrong. Armstrong lost his stick and couldn't take the pass. Here's Mahovlich going in, and he blasted that one off the crossbar of the goalpost. What a shot by Mahovlich, and it landed well in among the spectators. And the big fellow really wound up on the shot. 1-0 the score. Canadiens 1 and the Leafs no score, and this game is coming to you direct from the Forum in Montreal. Jacques Claude indicated to Doug Harvey, who wanted to know about that drive by Mahovlich. Claude indicated that it hit just the corner where the crossbar and the goalpost meet, and it ricocheted off on an angle in among the spectators. Harris is on with Mahovlich and Eamon. Henry Richard, Moore, and Bonin for the Canadiens. There's the pocket going in. He drifts the shot wide to the corner. Back at the point. Turner on the board with Bonin getting into the pocket over on this side. And it goes to Mahovlich's stick. Mahovlich down at center across the Canadian line, runs into Turner. Mahovlich now with Bonin. He centered it out. Harvey starting out for the Canadiens to Dickie Moore at center ice with pocket Richard. Across the line, a pass right in front to the goal mouth. And Bauer tucked it to Eamon. Eamon on the board. Now Henry Richard getting possession. His pass grabbed by Harris. Harris for Toronto. Ahead intended for Mahovlich. He couldn't get it. And call for icing are the Toronto Maple Leafs, and down they'll go deep in Leaf territory in the south end for the faceoff. You know, it is exactly 17 years ago tonight that a Toronto Maple Leaf hockey team made hockey history. For it was on April the 18th, back in 1942 at Toronto Maple Leaf Gardens, and it was a Saturday night too, I think, when the Leafs defeated the Detroit Red Wings 3-1 and thereby climaxed a comeback that saw them take 4 games after the Red Wings had won the first 3. Olmsted, a long right wing pass. Here's Stewart going in. Plant out of the net. The puck is loose. And it's Harvey taking over for the Canadiens. With Jeffrey on. Ahead to Backstrom. Backstrom back to Jeffrey on the shot. Score! Boom to Jeffrey on a shot that looked fairly harmless, and Bauer tried to get it on the back of his right gloved hand, and it seemed to trickle off that into the net. So it's 2-0. Montreal 2 and Toronto nothing.
Maintenant, 13 minutes, 42 secondes. Canadien goal scored by Bernard Sofrion, assist, Backstrom and Harvey. The time, 13 minutes and 42 seconds.
13:42, Jeffrey on from Backstrom and Harvey. On as he tried to nail McDonald when flying himself. Ronnie Stewart is getting a penalty. That came after the collision by McDonald and Bond. The whistle was sounding just about the same time. So the Leafs are shorthanded with Stewart off. Ronnie Stewart.
Third penalty to the Leafs in the game so far, in the period, of course. Canadians have had 2, and with Stewart going off, Toe Blake has decided to pull Doug Harvey from the power play and give him a rest. And he's going to go with Tom Johnson, Boom Boom Jeffrey on the points as Canadians lead 2-0.
14 minutes and 3 seconds, the time of the charging penalty to Stewart of Toronto. And the Canadiens are leading in this one 2-0 in the first period. They have pocket Richard, Moore, Bonin, Geoffrion and Johnson out there. A pass grabbed by Duff, who fires it down the ice. And the Maple Leafs with Armstrong and Duff up front. Horton and Stanley on defense. Now Canadiens organizing to Bonin on the left wing. To center ice to Dickie Moore. Moore turning. Now at his own line, going through center, hitting the Leaf line over on the right side to Geoffrion. Geoffrion has it knocked off his stick. He bumps with Stanley. Out it comes to Bonin. Back to Dickie Moore going in for the shot. And Stanley got in front of that one and deflected it high in the air. In among the spectators behind Bauer. 2-0. Canadiens 2 and the Leafs no score. And we've played almost 15 minutes in the opening period. Now Backstrom, who has been a standout for the Canadiens, coming out to take over from Pocket Bouchard at center. 1 minute and 15 seconds remaining in the penalty to Stewart. Moore has it on the boards. He's digging near the corner. Now he's trying to get in front. He fakes the shot. Bauer down with Horton. They deflect it. In on the boards. They fight for possession. Bonin bodied heavily by Horton. Now it's loose behind the net, and Horton has it for Toronto on the left wing. He fires it out, and Geoffrion got the stick above his shoulder making contact. So they'll take it down into Canadian territory for that infraction, in that the Maple Leafs are shorthanded. Ronnie Stewart looking on from the penalty bench. He has 50 seconds remaining. His linesman George Hayes, as you see over in that area. Pocket Richard is back on to take over from Backstrom. And we have 4 minutes and 57 seconds remaining in the first period. 2-0 to score. Canadiens 2 and the Leafs no score. Johnson around the net. Now he's organizing for Montreal, coming out with Moore and Henry Richard, who takes it at center ice. Over, he turns around on the left wing at center. Going to the Leaf line to Dickie Moore. Moore backhands it. A pass. Bonin couldn't get it. Off the board. Taken in on the boards by Duff. Armstrong gets it back to the line. Out it goes. Johnson brings it in. It's offside. And Toe Blake was annoyed as we noticed him stamp his feet over there behind the Canadiens players bench. Now he's making some changes, I believe. He wants Backstrom out there again. And Toll looking at the penalty clock to see how much time remaining in the penalty to Stewart. And if he reads it correctly, it'll be 33 seconds. Perhaps he'll read it correctly and we won't. I don't know. But I think from here it looks like 33 seconds. Puck is fired in by Montreal. Horton failed to clear it out. Backstrom leaves it there for Johnson. A bouncing puck. Armstrong couldn't take it out. Now McDonald going in with Geoffrion. Geoffrion tried to roll it. He gets it again. He shoots. And oh, that one just went by the goal post off Bauer's pass. Into the corner. Backstrom fires it high in the air. It's Geoffrion trying to center it out in front. He does. And Armstrong for the Leafs. Out over the line at center. Fires a bouncing shot. And Plante tucked it away well in front of the crease. And now Stewart is back on for the Leafs. Canadiens Geoffrion out at center ice. To the Leaf line. He winds up a sizzling shot. And Bauer fired it into the corner. Now Backstrom and Duff. McDonald tried to work out. Knocked down by Stanley. Here's Backstrom still with the puck. He fired it back to the line. Johnson winds up. Scores! Johnson let go with about a 50 or 55 footer. It was screened. Bauer didn't see it. And I don't think that anybody deflected it. So we're going to call it Johnson all the way. And if somebody did deflect it, we'll have it on the announcement. So Canadiens are now leading 3-0. And the Leafs with a Harris, even a Mahovlich. No change up front for Montreal. Now here come the Leafs. Billy Harris into the corner with Bonin. They both fall down.
Canadian goal scored by Tom Johnson. Assist Backstrom. The time, 16 minutes and 26 seconds.
16 minutes and 26 seconds. Johnson from Backstrom, and for Backstrom, he's figured in every goal tonight, scoring one, assisting on the other two. 3-0 for Montreal. First period. Pocket Richard, a pass to Moore going in on the right side, and Brewer taking over for the Leafs. Brewer played it by Moore now at the side of the net, gives it to Harris, working his way out with Mahovlich and Eamon. A pass goes to Mahovlich. In on the left side, he still has a turn around, back to the point of Brewer, a shot, and it's away wide. Harvey covering up, plays it on the boards, Leafs keeping it in there. Here's Big Mahovlich rolling it right in front, and Plante did an artistic maneuver as he circled around with the puck in his gloved hand, with Billy Harris going in there. Harris put the puck in the net, and the light went on, and the crowd got a kick out of that. We have 2 minutes and 47 seconds remaining. First period, and it's 3-0 for Canadiens over the Leafs. On the face-off, on the boards, Henry Richard trying to work out, leaves it for Turner. Turner back on the left side to Bonin, number 18 to Pocket Richard in on the line. The Pocket is taken out of the play, stays with it. Now it's over to Moore. Moore a backhand drive right in front, and Bauer down with a pileup of players. Bonin. Bond, and the Pocket was in there too. He just got out of the way, but Bauer making a fine save on another screen shot.
Jam-packed forum, 14,790, the largest crowd of the series. Sitting in on this one, and Tom Foley of CFRA will be with us at the end of the period to interview some of these famous hockey personalities who are amongst the large crowd here tonight.
Nearing the end of the first period, back to Pronovo, a backhand drive. And Olmstead gives it to Horton. Horton working on the right side, a left wing pass to Fulford, who cleared it in. Johnson covering up as it comes off the boards in the corner. Back to the point. There's a shot by Stanley, and he's wide. Stewart playing it back to the point to Stanley again. He cleared it into the corner. Olmstead, number 16, centering it in front. And the Canadiens come up with it. Out at center ice, Goyette down with Provo and Pronovo. Goyette over on the pass, and it was deflected. Leafs clearing it to center. Johnson, who scored the last Montreal goal, plays it off the boards to Goyette, number 20. Goyette to Provo on the right wing. Sides a long shot. Bauer stopped it. Fulford playing it up on the left wing. Now Provo on the boards. Olmstead trying to tie him up there. They fight for it, and the play is stopped.
Olmstead, who has been a tower of strength for the Leafs through the latter stages of the season and playoffs. In fact, Danny, we've been talking an awful lot about Johnny Bauer being so great for the Leafs. They have had a lot of stars in this series. They, in fact, have given us a tremendous team effort all the way through the playoffs. This has been an 18-man show all the way, and they're behind here 3-0, but they're still going. And if they were back in Toronto, they'd be hearing that "Go, Go, Leafs" chant.
A minute and 25 seconds left in the first period. 3-0 for Montreal. The Leafs organizing. That Duff with the puck coming out. He cleared it out. Regan picks it up. Goes to the Canadian line. Regan getting it back to Duff, who takes a shot. Knocked down by Johnson. Picked up by Pronovo. Pronovo from the corner. Fires it on the boards to Provo. Coming out with Goyette. Pronovo up on the play. Now Talbot comes up. Takes a shot right on. Bauer at the short side as Pronovo jammed away at it. And Bauer was ably assisted by Armstrong and Bond as the Canadians try to pry it loose. Maurice Richard has dressed for this one. He's over there on the Canadian players' bench. There you see the Rocket playing in his 125th playoff game. And that, of course, is a record. He's a man who has written the record book over and over again. A minute remaining. First period. Jeffrey on. Backstrom and McDonald on for Canadians. That has been their big line. Nicky Duff starting out. Stopped by Backstrom. Now the Canadians get it over the line. They didn't mean to, but to control the puck, they got out. Now they're back in. It goes back to McDonald. McDonald swinging in the corner. He's trying to get in front, and the shot off Brewer's stick ricocheted in him on the spectators.
And as we mentioned before, there's always something special about the souvenir of a puck from a playoff game, particularly if that game is the Stanley Cup final game. And this is the Stanley Cup final game, the fifth game. Canadians are leading at 3-0, and if they do not win it, if the Leafs come on to win this one, then a sixth game will be played in Toronto on Tuesday night. But if the Canadians win it, they will then have won the Stanley Cup for the fourth consecutive year, and that no team as yet has accomplished. Back it goes to Doug Harvey over on the point. Eamon starting out. Creighton is off the first time for the Leafs. Eamon going in for the shot off Turner's leg. He centers it back. And Bonin, number 18, down on the right side. A long left wing pass. Horton clearing it out. Creighton is trying to get away. He backhands it in. A long bouncing shot. Pont gives it to Harvey. Harvey around the net. He's working in the corner. Mahovlich is watching him. Played on the boards to Turner, and we have about 4 seconds remaining in this, the first period. Now the period is over, and Canadians on goals by Backstrom, Jeffrey-On, and Johnson lead the Toronto Maple Leafs 3-0 at the end of one period.
Something like Mexican jumping beans here. Punch Imlock is finding out. He seems to stop one of the Canadians' high-scoring lines, and the first thing you know, one pops up from somewhere else. And tonight it has been Ralph Backstrom, obviously taking great confidence from his big third period in Toronto the other night. He came out here in the opening 20 minutes flying as he hasn't for some months. He scored the first goal at 4:13 on a beautiful high shot to the left of Johnny Bauer. He set up Jeffrey-On for the second goal, and he made the big pass from back of the net to Tom Johnson at the blue line for the third goal to give Canadians the big 3-0 lead here at the end of one period. The shots 18 by Canadians, 15 by the Maple Leafs. So at the end of the first period, the score is Montreal 3, Toronto 0. This fifth game in the Stanley Cup Finals between the Canadiens and the Maple Leafs is being brought to you direct from the Forum in Montreal.
Tom Foley, and with me I have Frank J. Selke, Managing Director of the Montreal Canadiens. Now, there's a number of reasons why I could have Mr. Selke as my guest. Last year, I had him on to tell me who was going to win an overtime game, which he did. He even picked the name of the fellow who would score the goal. He said Maurice Richard will score it, being a hockey executive. But tonight there's a special reason. Mr. Selke's been in hockey for 53 years, 30 of them in the National League. He's won minor championships, junior championships, minor pro. He was associated with the Toronto Maple Leafs, if you'll excuse the expression, Mr. Selke, for 3 Stanley Cups. He has about 3 4/5 Stanley Cups going for him here in Montreal. And tonight he has a special reunion with several of his captains over the years that sort of reflect that 53-year career. I suppose, Mr. Selke, in 53 years you've learned that a hockey game is never won till it's over, but you must be reasonably satisfied in this game at this stage.
Yes, I am. I'm highly gratified with the play of our team so far, but no team, particularly no Toronto Maple Leaf team, is ever licked until the final whistle, so we have to keep working as we have up to now.
Well, you have some special guests here with you tonight. They are captains of clubs that you've had throughout the years. I think we should let the people in on them. So would you be good enough to introduce the first one, please?
Yes, the first one is George Cargas, my buddy. In fact, we were born next door to each other. Hello, George. Hello. And he played both baseball and hockey for me. He played in 7-man hockey when the teams played the entire 60 minutes without substitution, and he was then known as a cover point. People who see the game as it's played today will be surprised when I tell them that I remember many games in which George scored 2 to 5 goals in league competition on end-to-end rushes. There was no forechecking, and the game was played different than it is today. But I wish that he were young enough that I could tender him a contract and pay him what I now pay some of our boys, because he used to buy his own skates, boots, and sticks, and everything else. How do you like this kind of hockey, George?
Great. I think the 2 goals ticket, but they made 1 extra goal tonight.
That's right. You called it there would be 2 goals
in that period. I guess I missed out that one, so better luck next time.
Mr. Cargas, what year were you playing as Mr. Selke's captain?
1915.
He started as a minor league player.
And what club was that, and what category, what classification were they playing?
Junior OHA.
And in what city?
Kitchener.
Kitchener Union Jacks, Junior OHA, and he didn't used to pay any.
No, we had no money.
Well, did you have to pay him?
I had to see what he got somewhere.
Well, George, it's delightful having you with us here after so many years, and you picked a pretty good night to see the old boss.
Night.
Butch Bouchard will talk to you because George was a high-class baseball pitcher. Now comes Frank Burke.
What year are we up to now?
Frank played with me from 1918 to about 1925 with various teams in Toronto, the name that's almost unmentionable tonight. But Frank was my electrician pal, although he graduated from St. Michael's Business, or De La Salle rather, I must have mixed up, as a business office worker, and I got him to help me so that I could get him to play hockey for me because he was such a good, hard-working right winger. He weighed 135 pounds ringing wet. When I needed a defenseman, he went on the defense and played very well there. Now, he was an excellent catcher, Butch, if you're looking for baseball material. He decided to quit hockey and joined the Laura Secord Company, and from there he transferred to the Fanny Farmer Company, where he's now chairman of the board, so it's not too bad for a fellow who worked in the tunnel with me at the University of Toronto.
They were good days, Frank.
Where are you located now?
Rochester, New York, Tom.
And is this the first National Hockey League game you've seen for a while?
Oh, no, I saw the playoffs Tuesday night. That was a good game, too, and this one looks pretty good.
Well, particularly to an ex-Celtic man.
And I might tell you that Frank is a director, I believe vice president, of the Rochester American Hockey Club, and was the first booster for Billy Hickey, and he's been his sponsor throughout the season.
Tell us something
My
about it.
adopted son.
Tell us something about it.
Well, the word we got in Rochester was that they were going to send Billy Hickey to the Western League. So I immediately got in the telephone and called Frank, and I said, this guy makes a lot of good moves. We got a lot of other guys down here, good hockey players in the Western League. Don't send him.
A move to the
Frank
West.
said, we'll consider it. The result is that he helped put us in the playoffs. I think he'll get probably 3 awards. He certainly should get, he'll get the leading scorer award. He's won that. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the most valuable player award. And if there are any others, I think he should get them too.
Frank, what was it I paid you for the 5 or 6 years that you played for my teams?
I paid you, I think, if I remember right.
It's all right. It's okay.
Who's impressed you tonight that you'd like for Rochester next year?
Well, we'll take Hickey back, number one, as much on his booster. And I think when Doug Harvey was down in Rochester and spoke to our polio dinner, he said that when he was too old to play in the National Hockey League, that he'd like to come and finish the game in Rochester. So we'll put our application in tonight. I don't expect to get him for a short period of time.
They're not using the Rocket in Belleville. Maybe you'd have a chance there.
So why aren't you playing Belleville, Frank?
Well, I'll tell you, he's badly hurt, and I don't see any reason why we should risk a fellow's future, make a cripple of him, or spoil a good hockey prospect by playing him when he's injured.
You've changed a lot. You never thought of those things in the old days.
Why? What are you talking about?
As long as you could dress, you played.
Oh, you're referring to the night that you broke your jaw and thought I should take you out of the lineup just because you were hurt.
All you gave me was a water bottle.
Well, you got that much anyway.
Well, Frank, if you only broke one jaw, I'm sure you could carry on. Well, thanks very much, Frank. And now we'll move up a little further in your career. I guess we're up into the 1950s, and the competition must be getting tougher because your bodyguards seem to be getting bigger.
Now, this is around the 1920s. Come Charlie Conacher.
What did I say? Did I not say 1920?
No, you said
1950.
Well, he looks that young. How could I do that?
Thank you, Tom.
Charlie, I have always told everybody, and I'm proud to say it, you are the greatest athlete of all the many wonderful athletes that I have been ever been associated with. You played every sport well, hockey extremely well. Since I've come here, I've had Morris Richard, who I must say has surpassed you in hockey ability, but I am sorry that we couldn't bring Joe Primo and Happy Day because we've got enough here. And those guys are at home sitting on their money bags with a shotgun across their knee. You couldn't get them out of town. But tell me, they all know about your career and what you meant to me. Tell me how you feel about this game tonight.
Well, Frank, coming from Toronto, as you can hear, I'm a little hoarse from yelling for them, but I don't think it's much of a contest and didn't think it would be at the very start of the game. Canadians are far too powerful and too much depth on the bench, and they just look like a big, powerful hockey team out there.
Thank you for those kind words, but I
Well,
hope you're right at the end of the 60 minutes, not at the end of the 30
Well,
minutes.
just be careful, Frank. It might be 8-0 at the end of this period, the way they're going.
Charlie, could I do two things? Firstly, I know all the people want to get a real good look at you. Would you just turn and look at that camera? Because you're still so handsome, I thought you were only 16 years of age.
Thank you, Tom.
How would you compare this Canadian club to the teams you have seen throughout the years?
Well, I don't think you can make any comparisons. Good hockey teams are good when they're playing. And right now, Canadians, down through the past 4 or 5 years, have been the greatest hockey team and certainly one of the greatest of all times.
Charlie, you scored a lot of goals in your career, never hit 40. And many people have mentioned that this year, for the first time in history, 3 players have scored 40 goals. Is that a change in style of play?
Well, it might be a change in the style of play, but when I scored 36 goals, 34 goals, I only played in 40 games.
It's a different league.
40 game altogether. They're playing 70 games
That's
now
right.
and getting 40 goals.
Well, Charlie, we've got one more big guy that we want to introduce here tonight, and he's too big to argue with. He's liable to sign you up to play left field.
And
Thanks very
a
much,
pretty good
Charlie
hockey
Connick.
player, too, coming up. Thank you.
Second base was Charlie's spot, so Butch, you're straight and strong through the middle. Catcher, pitcher, and second baseman.
Butch, I thought I had the franchise for stepping on that microphone cord and ripping it apart. Here's Butch Bouchard.
Butch, you know that you were always my ambassador here. When anything needed to be said in French, you said it for me, and if it had to be said in English and I wasn't big enough to say it, you said that. First of all, I want to wish the best to your Royal Ball Club this season. I would like them to have as wonderful a season as we have had up to now.
Well, thank you very much. We might need it. Thank you.
We are looking for a fella like you to play defense on our team. We're very happy about our players, but we could do with another big bruiser like you. Although I prefer to play classy hockey than rough hockey. Sometimes you need a policeman. How's it?
Well, there's nothing wrong with your defense tonight. Winning 3-0. How many goals you expect to score, and how many you expect the other team to
Well,
score?
I would like to have the score about 10-0, and then I could relax because I'm worried about this particular game. But, you know, it's a funny thing. But the more success you have, the more success people expect of you, and if you don't win, they're convinced that you're not trying to win. So I would really love to win this one tonight.
Well, I know for a fact that Canadians are trying to win tonight, and by the looks, I think they will win.
Butch, how would you compare this Canadiens club to the teams you played on?
Well, I would say that on the forward, that the strongest club I've ever seen of Canadian. In the net, I think Plant is as good as any goalie that I saw before. And I think Canadian of today, of the last 5 years, is as good as I've seen anywhere else.
I'd like to ask both you fellows here, because you've had so much to do with him, is the Rocket going to play again? And since you're the top predictor in hockey, how many goals will he score next year if he plays?
If you're asking me, Morris will play next year. I'm not too anxious to have him play now with that leg, which is just healed, because I think too much of him and too much of his future. But he'll play next year, and if he don't have any injuries, he'll get 30 or more goals. You mark my word.
If he doesn't play tonight, I don't think he'll have to play this year.
Well, we're talking about next season, but do you think he'll come back?
Next year, well, I don't know. You know, Morris, with all his determination, probably will be back next year. But it's up to him, I guess.
Bill Cook and Eddie Shaw and Dick Irvin played until they were 40. Morris can do the same. He can do more than anybody.
Well, on that happy note, we'll leave the other clubs to worry about it. Frank Selke, 4 of his captains in his 53 years in hockey. In a moment, Danny Gallivan with the play-by-play of the second period.
Montreal Canadiens 3, Toronto Maple Leafs no score. And the officials are coming on the ice. Here come the Canadiens and the Leafs, and we are just a few minutes away now from the beginning of the second period. We noticed shortly after the intermission between the first and second period started that Dickie Duff, the Leafs' great young forward, went to the form clinic.
But he's back now on the Leaf bench. And Frank, if you can get some information on the reason why Duff went to the Forum Clinic, exactly the nature of his minor injury, we would appreciate it very much. 3-0 the score. Scoring in the first period for the Canadiens. Backstrom, Geoffrion, and Johnson in that order. Backstrom has been the big point maker tonight with a goal and 2 assists. Geoffrion has an assist as well as his goal. Canadiens 3 and the Toronto Maple Leafs nothing. The Stanley Cup, of course, is here tonight in the event that Montreal should win. And that's a coveted trophy. And if the Canadiens should win, it'll be presented at the end of the game. You know that Stanley Cup one time ended up in the Rideau Canal, but fortunately the night it was tossed into the Rideau Canal, there was ice there. And then another night that it was being taken somewhere after a game for presentation and for official celebration, it fell out of a car and was found on a street corner here in Montreal. So it has survived, and that's the trophy they're battling it out for here tonight and in this series. Now the Toronto Maple Leafs with Fulford speeding down on the left wing at center, clearing it in. He gets away from Harvey, goes to the corner, tries to center it. It's taken on the boards by Turner. Now at the side of the net, Stewart almost jammed it in. Turner playing it up on the left wing boards. Stewart falling down. It's cleared out over the line by to the line. Stanley firing it back in. It's Harvey for Canadiens. Out it goes to Goyette. Goyette at center, down with Andre Pronovost. The pass is too far ahead. Stewart racing against Pronovost. Into the corner. Provo takes the shot, and it was stopped by Stanley. Stanley and Goyette in the corner looking for possession. Olmsted goes in there. He gets it. Now Olmsted is trying to get out, and he cleared it. Canadian Turner firing it back in, offside. And they line up for the face-off at the Maple Leafs blue line. We played exactly 1 minute in the second period. 3-0 the score. Canadiens 3 and the Leafs nothing. Creighton is now at center. Olmsted on left wing. Olmsted has had a great series, especially in a fine year with the Maple Leafs. If the Leafs should win, Olmsted then would be the only player in hockey to be on 4 consecutive Stanley Cup games. Now the Leafs, Creighton at center, runs into Turner. It's Horton clearing a long shot off Turner's leg. Creighton scooped it in on the left wing, and Harvey covers up for Montreal. Playing it on the boards back to the point. There's a shot by Horton off to the corner. Leafs fire it on the boards again. Now Provo getting back near the point. Stanley cleared it in, it goes right in front of the net, and Claude is down, and he holds it. And the Leafs came close that time. And Ronnie Stewart and Creighton right in front as that puck ricocheted right into the goal crease, and Flaunt had to be very alert to come up with it.
Canadiens seem to be suffering a little bit from that letdown, which usually is automatic with a big first period lead. They're leading here 3-0, and up to this point in the second period, the Leafs have held the play.
Talbot gets it, swings around the net. Duff is watching him. Talbot up on the right side, goes to center to the Leaf line, cleared it in, and it's Regan starting out with Armstrong at center. Regan down fast across the line. The shot off Johnson's stick, and Talbot takes it to the corner. Talbot playing it up on the left wing to Backstrom with McDonald and Jeffrey on, the 3 of them at center. Backstrom cleared it in. Bauer stopped it. Brewer around the Leaf net, trying to get out. He's out on the left side, passes it to Regan. Ahead to Brewer. Brewer down to the Canadian line. Duff shot, and he's wide. Armstrong trying to center it out. Now Backstrom picking his way out with Jeffrey on, who takes the pass to the Toronto line. To Backstrom, he's cutting in, trying to get in front. And Brewer knocked it off his stick. Brewer gives it to Regan. Regan neatly away from Jeffrey on at center to the Canadian line. Handling that puck beautifully. He backhands a pass to the corner. Armstrong in there. He's getting set to center it, and Talbot cleared it on the boards to McDonald. McDonald working his way out against Armstrong, shoved it out over the line to center. Brewer walks back in for the Leafs, takes the shot, and Flaunt cleared it to McDonald, number 15 on the left wing. Leafs stopping McDonald fires, runs into Talbot. Henry Richard from across the front of the net, fired into the boards to center. Brewer dumped a shot, and Plante scooped it up with his left gloved hand. The teams are making changes as the play goes on here in the second period after 3 minutes and 15 seconds. Pocket Richard couldn't get through. Johnson backhands it in. Here's Mahovlich swinging out on the left side to the Canadian line. He's cutting in, getting set. He's juked, and it goes around the net. Horton from the point, a hard shot, and that hit Hires in front. Mahovlich is trying to center it. Nicky Moore playing it up on the right wing boards. It goes to center ice as the pocket cleared it there. Now Stanley over to Eamon, number 17. He scooped it in. And the Leafs have taken the play away from the Canadiens here in the second period. Canadiens are leading by a score of 3-0. Bonne's pass grabbed by Mahovlich. He put it over on an open right wing and Pocket Richard ahead to Bonnet. To the Toronto line. Bonnet to Dickie Moore. Leafs clearing it out to the line. Couldn't get anywhere against Henry Richard. Now they get it again. Here's Harris going in against Harvey. Harris trying to get in front, and he swung around. A penalty here. Harvey going off as he brought Harris down. Harris, the will of the wisp, tried to cut around Harvey and then was grabbed and taken down to the ice. Doug Harvey going off for Montreal. We played about 4 minutes and 10 seconds in the second period.
Pour avoir accroché le temps 4 minutes 6 secondes. Canadien penalty, Doug Harvey, 2 minutes for hooking. The time, 4 minutes and 10 seconds.
4 minutes and 10 seconds, the time of the penalty to Harvey. Going off for hooking, leads every man up. Over on the left point, Brewer going in. He scooped it in on the boards. Johnson trying to get it clear. Now Brewer still has it. He's circling around. He's getting set. His shot right on. And Plante grabbed that one with Fulford in there, tapping away at a rebound. And Plante has been exceptionally alert and quick on the screen shots tonight. Jacques Plante adjusting his knee pad. Particularly was he good in the first period on 2-point shots by Horton. Canadiens are leading by a score of 3-0. Now Big Armstrong shoots. He scores! Armstrong took the shot from the point, and I think Fulford deflected it in. So the Leafs, who took the play away from the Canadiens the beginning of this period, capitalized very quickly on the penalty to Harvey, with Armstrong taking the long shot, and it appeared from here as if Fulford got his stick on it to deflect it into the net. Canadiens 3, Leafs 1.
Assisté de Armstrong et Brewer. Le temps, 4 minutes 27 secondes. Toronto goal scored by Bob Fulford, assist Armstrong and Brewer. The time, 4 minutes and 27 seconds.
Leafs are called for icing. 4 minutes and 27 seconds, the time of the goal. Fulford, his fourth playoff goal. Armstrong and Brewer assisting. And now Toronto are making some changes.
And that's the first goal which the Toronto Maple Leafs have scored in this playoff series with the Canadiens, while the Canadiens have been a man short. A little bit of an oddity. The Canadiens had gone through 2 penalties earlier in this game and 15 in the other 4 games. So it was on the 18th penalty when the Leafs finally scored one.
Canadiens 3 and the Leafs 1. Creighton, the left wing pass. Stanley fires it out. Duff couldn't reach it. Down the ice it goes. Turner back, and once again, Leafs a call for icing. Dickie Duff, who is out there now, has that number 9, and he has come into permanent possession of that number for the Leafs. When it was first allotted to Duff, it was on a probationary basis. He had to prove that he was capable of playing the type of hockey in the tradition of Charlie Conacher and Ted Kennedy. But when he got that overtime goal in the third game, Stafford Smythe told him, "Boy, you have played in the tradition of these 2 hockey players, and that is your number." Now Doug Harvey loses it. Creighton couldn't get away. Provo, number 14, streaks over the other side. A pass intercepted by Armstrong. Going in on the right side. Creighton coming up in the play. A pass in front. And now the Canadiens starting out. Pronovo with Provo, who takes the pass down to the Toronto line. A pass back. And number 9, Dickie Duff, has it on the boards. Stanley playing it off Pronovo's stick. And it was in among the spectators. And sort of an extension on the observation, Frank, of the number 9 in the National Hockey League. Right now, you have some great hockey players wearing that number 9. Maurice Richard, Gordie Howe. Of course, you have Duff, and then you have a fellow by the name of Bathgate with the New York Rangers, Busick of Boston, and Sloan of Chicago. It has always been a number worn by great hockey players. Armstrong clearing it ahead. Here's Johnson coming back. A right wing pass to Provo. He's cutting in, getting in close. A backhand drive, and Goyette missed the rebound as Bauer kicked it out. Now the Leafs Regan coming out over the line with Duff and Armstrong. Left wing pass. Armstrong cleared it in. Talbot playing it on the boards up to Provo, giving it to Goyette. Goyette to the Leaf line, still with it, getting in. He's getting in close. He's still got a great play by Bauer. A beautiful play by Phil Goyette. It's Regan, number 8 for Toronto. Dropping it back to Duff. Duff organizing, coming out. It's out over the line. He couldn't hold it, and Talbot fired it back in. Now here's Horton. At center ice, bodied by Goyette. It's picked up by Armstrong to the Canadian line. He drops it to Regan. Regan is going in for the shot off Talbot. And Talbot cleared it down the ice. Brewer escapes on the ice. He's back after it. And he leaves it in the corner for Mahovlich. Mahovlich runs into Bonin. They both go down. Horton clearing it to Eamon. Eamon rolls it ahead. Talbot missed his man. Now Eamon going in for the shot, and a great save by Plante. Eamon with that very quick wrist shot almost put it past Plante. Now the Canadiens, pocket Richard with Moore. Back to pocket, going in, and it's called on the offside. And the tempo of the game picking up very perceptibly here nearing the 7th-minute mark in the second period. 3-1 the score, with the Canadiens leading the Leafs.
Jerry Eamon almost came up with his first goal against the Canadiens. He had 6 against the Bruins, and I think Jerry is probably shaking his head down there, wondering how Plante managed to get a leg on that one.
Dickie Moore in on the line, backhands one off the corner. Pocket trying to get it down. Eamon coming out over the line at center. Big Mahovlich missed the pass. Eamon cleared it in as Mahovlich, who failed to come up with the pass, got across that Montreal line. Incidentally, just before the game tonight, the 10th Annual Hockey News Awards were announced by Ken McKenzie, and the coaches figuring in this series are among the 4 personalities selected. The top personality, Punch Imlach of Toronto. The top coach, Toe Blake of the Canadiens. Executive, Rudy Pastor of Buffalo. Top player, Andy Bathgate of the New York Rangers. Offside against the Leafs again. Olmsted with Fulford and Stewart against Baxter, McDonald, and Geoffrion for the Canadiens. Canadiens are leading in this one in the second period, 3-1. They scored their 3 goals in the first period. Fulford coming over on the left wing, hits the Montreal line, plays it on the boards, goes to the corner against Turner. Now it's to Olmsted. Olmsted hitting the player, a loose puck out in front. Olmsted hit Turner with that. Canadiens back. It's Backstrom in on the line with McDonald and Geoffrion. Backstrom to the corner, bodying with Brewer. Geoffrion trying to center it out. And it's Bobby Bond coming out with Fulford at center ice. Bond gets away from Turner, goes to the corner. He's bumped now heavily into the boards by Geoffrion. Back at the point of Brewer, number 18, a screen shot. It's wide, bounces into the corner. Stewart and Turner go in there fighting for it. And it's Turner now bodied by Fulford. They're beginning to toss their bodies around as it's cleared in among the spectators by Bond. Stewart talking. The referee, Eddie Powers. I guess Stewart is contending that Turner should have had a penalty as he took Stewart in on the board. So a change of players now for the Leafs as we near the 9th minute mark in the second period.
3-1 for Canadians, and Toe Blake is making changes too. He's sending on Goyette, Pronovo, and Provo.
Leaf captain George Armstrong talking it up with referee Eddie Powers, obviously asking for a penalty on the play. And from up here in the press box, it seemed as though it was possible that Turner's stick clipped Stewart. He fell to the ice in the corner and momentarily covered his forehead, but quickly got up. And, of course, no penalty has been called on the play.
Canadians 3 and the Leafs 1, second period. Canadians, Goyette takes a pass at center down with Provo. Goyette tries to center it, Provo going in. There's the puck off to the side. And Regan for the Leafs working out. He can really handle that puck. That time he couldn't get away from Provo. Now it's Duff failing to get anywhere against Johnson. Provo back in for the Canadians, in on the right side, a pass. And Armstrong. His pass in turn grabbed by Goyette. Goyette faked the shot, cleared it in on the left wing to Pronovo, who scooped it near the corner. Here's Goyette going in. The puck almost came in front. Horton fires it on the left wing to Duff. Duff coming out. He takes a long shot. Plante handled it easily. Now Plante is hit by Duff, and his own player Talbot gets back in the net. Provo in on the right side into Toronto territory. On the boards, he passes it to the side of the net. Goyette trying to center it out. Horton is covering up, and Armstrong goes in there trying to get possession. But it's securely held against the boards for a face-off. To the left of Bauer. And we played 9 minutes and 13 seconds in the second period. 3-1, Canadians 3, and the Leafs 1. So it was rule that a Canadian player was responsible for holding it in. They bring it outside the line for the face-off. Mahovlich is on with Eamon and Hers against Bonan, Moore, and Pocket Richard for the Canadians. Harvey clearing it out. Now Henry Richard fails to get anywhere. Bond's pass high in the air. Eamon got that stick up high and made the contact. So they'll face off in the center ice area. That's Art Stoll getting set to drop the puck. Dickie Moore laying it ahead. Brewer fired it out, and Pocket Richard scooped it in on the left side, and Moore was still trying to get out of Toronto's zone.
An awful lot of chatter coming up to us here from the Canadiens bench, and I think the ringleader down there making all the noise, Boom Boom Jeffrey on, having a good night tonight, and you can usually tell by the way he hollers.
Turner stopped by Harris. Zeman tried to get through. Outside. And now number 14, Brian Cullen, coming out for the first time tonight. He goes to center. I'll check on that. He may have been out before, Frank. We'll test your memory on that when we get a chance. Here's Pocket Richard going in on the right side. Winds up with a shot to Bonan. He scores! Pocket Richard took the shot, and it hit Brewer, and it ricocheted right over to Bonan, much in the same fashion as if he were to get a pass from Pocket Richard. And he went in there, played it neatly, got Bauer to make his move, and he tucked it into the empty net.
Assisté de Henri Richard et Harvey. Le temps, 9 minutes 55 secondes. Canadien goal scored by Marcel Bonnet. Assist, Henri Richard and Harvey. The time, 9 minutes and 55 seconds.
9 minutes and 55 seconds. Bonan, his 10th playoff goal. Here's Brian Cullen dropping it back. And the assist to Pocket Richard and Harvey. Here comes Bonan again. In on the line. The shot just off the ice, stopped by Bauer. And Bonan having just a tremendous playoff to go along with an end of the season, 6 weeks, which was scintillating with Beliveau and Moore. And now he's on there with the Pocket and Moore.
Bonet on the boards in Toronto territory in the corner. He and Horton high stick each other. Moore goes in there. Moore getting it back off the boards. Turner takes the shot right in front. Bauer is down. Now here's Turner back near the point. He rolled it in. And the Leafs starting out on the line. Here's Mahovlich getting a break in with Fulford. A backhand drive. And Harvey got back there beautifully to hurry Mahovlich. And the drive actually wasn't a tough one for Plot. 4-1 for the Canadiens over the Leafs in the second period, and this game is coming to you direct from the Forum in Montreal. And the Leaf supporters are starting that chant, "Go Leafs, go." Fulford centers it. Back it comes. Ray Ohm on there, takes the shot. It hit Johnson. Now Canadiens Backstrom up with Geoffrion and McDonald. Across the line, Backstrom going in. It's back to Geoffrion. He's going into the shot. Right in front. And Bauer down, assisted by number 21 right in front, Vaughn. That backhand drive hit Vaughn and never did get to Bauer. Scoring in the game for Canadiens, Backstrom, Geoffrion, Johnson, and Bonet. And for the Leafs, Bobby Fulford. Bonet is now within 2 goals of the playoff record of 12 goals in playoffs by the Rocket and Belleville. There's a shot by Johnson, knocked down. McDonald gets it out in front to Backstrom. He tried to roll it in front. Now a bouncing puck. Backstrom couldn't get a shot as he was knocked off balance. Olmsted ahead to Fulford, in on the left side. Canadiens breaking it up. A shot by Olmsted. Johnson rolls it ahead to Geoffrion. Geoffrion to center to Backstrom, and he couldn't get anywhere against Stewart. Now McDonald over to Geoffrion, who played it back to center to Johnson, firing it in on the right side. And Olmsted being bumped by Geoffrion, gets it to Bond. Bond around the net out on the right wing to Stewart. Stewart a pass to Olmsted, number 16 to Fulford, 20 in over the line. Back to Olmsted. He swings over on the other side. A backhand drive, and Plante cleared it to the corner. Now here's Bobby Fulford trying to center it. He does. And it goes off the stick out over the line. Number 2, Ray Ohm. Ray Ohm to Stewart. Long shot off Turner's stick. Pronovo on with Goyette and Provo, and we are now nearing the 13th minute mark. Pronovo going into the corner, couldn't center it out. Stewart rolls it ahead. Duff finally came up with it, but couldn't get out. Recovered now by Bond. Bond on the left side, out over his own line at center. Regan fired it in toward the corner, and Turner covers up for Montreal. Pronovo out to Goyette to Turner. Pass goes to center. And Dickie Duff on the left side cleared it in. Harvey knocking it down. And the checking getting a bit close. Canadiens, Provo out at center ice. Goyette coming up on the play and on the right side. Knocked in on the boards by Stanley, Provo was. Now it's back here to the point. Harvey cleared it right in front, deflected by the gloved hand of Horton, as Goyette was there. Here's Horton picking his way out. He's across his own line with Armstrong. Duff railing on the play, a shot right on. Kicked off to the corner. Provo laying it on the boards. The Leafs stopping it at the line. Stanley a screen shot. Armstrong failed to get control of it in front. Harvey is dumped and knocked down by Duff. Regan playing it back to the point. Horton couldn't keep it in. It slides down the ice. And Pronovo is skating after Horton in deep Leaf territory. Horton starting out his pass, knocked down by Moore, stays with it. Now he's at center, still has the puck. Clears the pass to Duff. Duff going in. And Johnson out for Canadiens with Pocket. Richard takes the pass in on the right side. The Pocket puts on the brakes in the corner. Tries to dump the pass. Off the boards. He stays with it. Clears it in front. And Bonet couldn't knock it down. Here's Henry Richard, a pass intercepted by Armstrong. to Duff for Toronto at center. And he dumps the long shot. Plonk well out in front of the crease, tucks it off to Talbot. They're changing players as the play goes on. The Toronto Leafs are. Hovlich knocks down a high pass, works over on the right side. It's at center ice to Harris. Now Harris hits the Canadian line, working in. A pass to Eamon going in and goal. And Plonk kicked that one out. Eamon went right in on a beautiful play. Now it's Talbot out for Canadians. At center ice with Pocket, Richard, and Bonin. Pass to Pocket. Dropping it back to Bonin. A loose puck in front of the net. And Moore overswung on it. Now Eamon dumping it out on the right side to center. Fired back in by Talbot. And Vaughn is in there to get it for Toronto. And we have less than 5 minutes remaining now in the second period. 4-1 the score. Canadians 4 and the Leafs 1. Hovlich couldn't get anywhere against Johnson. Now Rayom turns back at his own line. Pass to Eamon. Eamon cleared it in, and Johnson for Canadians up on the left wing. Moore backtracks to get organized at his own line. Couldn't get away from Harris, and McDonald cleared it in for Canadians. McDonald skating to the corner, getting set for a pass out. He passes it right across the goal mouth. Now Eamon. Out to Bobby Pulford, down with Olmsted, who takes the right wing pass, back to Pulford over the stick. Pulford at the point, takes the shot. Ian Harvey digging away at it. Eamon getting it out, and it's Backstrom moving away from Olmsted. Clearing a pass to Jeffrey-on, and he lost it to Stewart of the Leafs, who got on the ice. Harvey over on the other side to Turner, up on the left wing to McDonald, and Bond. Clearing it at center ice. Olmsted coming down with Bobby Pulford. Olmsted going in on the left side. He gets the rebound. Going in again. He rolled it right in front. There's a shot by Pulford. And 3 Canadian players. Turner now. 5 of them. McDonald, Backstrom, and Turner originally were the 3 on the ice. And the shot hit one of them. And then Harvey and Plonk got in on it, as Jeffrey-on was the only player off to the side.
Looked like a marble game, Danny, on the corner lot someplace, as they all pounced on that, with the exception of one Canadian player covering up to protect this lead.
Canadians 4 and the Leafs 1. Cleared away by Turner from Olmsted in among the spectators. Well, the Leafs, who need goals to get back in the game, sending every man up. There's Ad McDonald, Bobby Pulford, Harvey, number 2, skating through face-off circle, and Eddie Powers, the referee. 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the second period. Into the corner, Pulford. He centers it to the side. Now Canadian speedster Backstrom up fast on the right side to the Leaf line, working in. Stanley took him out of the play. Horton ahead to Olmsted. Olmsted to Pulford. He's down with Stewart across the line, and it's knocked out over the line by McDonald and Harvey. Stanley waiting for his teammates to get onside, and Turner broke it up. Now Horton cleared it in on the right side. Turner getting it to Jeffrey on offside, and that would give the Canadians an opportunity to make changes that they were just about to make. And Front Imlach going to make some changes too. 2 minutes and 45 seconds left in the middle period. Canadians scored 3 times in the first period, and each team has scored here in the second. Bonin for Montreal and Pulford for Toronto. Johnson in on the boards. Creighton ties him up. Talbot working out on the right side. Provo takes it. A pass. It's stopped. Brewer turns around. Loses it to Johnson, who fires a dump shot off to the side. And Bobby Bond for the Leafs behind the net. Bond just taking his time, waiting for a teammate to get into position for a pass, apparently. Now it goes to Creighton, who comes out on the line with Armstrong. Duff is trailing. A long shot, the rebound, and Talbot fired it off on the board. Duff flicks it to the side of the net. Johnson around up on the right side. The Leafs keeping the Canadians bottled up at the moment. Johnson around the net. Being watched by Armstrong, comes to the other side. Cleared it ahead. Goyette takes it, works through center, a left wing pass. Andre Pronovo is cutting in, trying to get in front. He shoots, and he hit the side of the net as he was upended by Brewer. Puck is cleared on the board. Provo working in against Brewer. Provo is bodied. Now Goyette jamming at it at the side. He's bodied and knocked down by Brewer. And Brewer is going to get the gate. They're charging that way. Carl Brewer is going to get the gate, likely for charging, and Armstrong, captain of the Leafs, argues the point with referee Eddie Powers as Brewer goes to the penalty bench. Likely be charging.
Young Brewer, the most penalized player of all in the playoffs. 2-minute penalty here gives him a total of 40 minutes in penalties. He therefore becomes the 8th highest penalized player in playoff history in the National League, just moving ahead of Eddie Shore, with whom he was tied going into tonight's game, each with 38 minutes. So it's Brewer off for 2 minutes. He now has 40 minutes in penalties against Boston and Canadiens this spring.
Canadiens 4 and the Leafs 1, a minute and 30 seconds remaining in the second period. Canadiens with Moore, Pocket, Richard, Bonin, Geoffrion, and Johnson. Stanley in on the boards to the left of Bauer, and gets a face-off in deep Leaf territory. Fulford and Stewart are the forwards. Horton on defense with Stanley. Now it's back to Tom Johnson to Geoffrion. Back in toward the corner to Moore. Moore cleared a bouncing pass, and the Leafs Fulford backhands it down the ice. And I think I detected some of the 14,000 chanting, "We want Rocket." It's difficult up at this level to pick up what they chant from time to time, but I think that's what they were saying. Now Canadiens, 1 minute remaining. Here's Bobby Fulford swinging away from Geoffrion, who fell down. Bonin picking up the puck, down with Moore and Pocket Richard. A pass to Moore, to Pocket. There's a shot, juggled by Bauer. And he finally came up with it on the second bounce, as Bonin was tied up in the crease by Stanley. 45 seconds left in the second period. In the penalty box for the Leafs, Brewer. And he has a minute and 14 seconds remaining. So if Canadiens do not score in this period, young Brewer will be off starting the third for 29 seconds. Fulford taking it around the net. McDonald after him. It's knocked down at the point by Johnson. Now McDonald getting it out to Backstrom. Back to the boomer. He scores! Boom Boom Geoffrion, who has been a standout in the last couple of games particularly. He's been scoring. Before that he was playing well but not scoring, but now he's on a rampage, and he got that blast well out, and McDonald and Backstrom will likely get the assist.
Backstrom et Johnson. Le temps, 17 minutes, 25 secondes. Canadien goal scored by Bernard Chaufrillon, assist Backstrom and Johnson. The time, 19 minutes and 25 seconds.
19:25. Backstrom and Johnson get the assist on Geoffrion's goal. The puck in lead zone, and we have 13 seconds remaining. 5-1. Canadiens are leading the Leafs. Here's McDonald trying to center it across the goal mouth. And it's Fulford coming out with Olmsted. He takes the pass off his skate, fires it to the corner, and the second period is over. And Canadiens, who led by 3 goals at the end of the first period, now have upped their lead to a commanding 4-goal lead. Canadiens 5 and the Leafs 1.
Canadiens, who opened this game with a terrific barrage in the first period to score 3 goals, weakened momentarily through the beginning of the second period, and the Leafs came up with 1 goal to make it 3-1, but they couldn't hold the Canadiens through the latter part of the second period. And Bonnet and Jeffrion came up with second period goals, added to goals in the first period by Backstrom, Tommy Johnson, and Jeffrion's first goal. And it's 5-1 at the end of 2. The shots on goal after 2 periods, 27 by the Canadiens and 25 by the Maple Leafs. A wide open hockey game. The Leafs, after getting behind by 3, had to open up to try to stay in the game. And through most of that second period, it was up and down and very exciting. So at the end of the second period, it's Montreal 5, Toronto 1. This game between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens is being brought to you direct from the Forum.
Question that the two top sports spectacles in Canada are the Stanley Cup, which we are seeing tonight, and the Grey Cup of football. And since this is one of the two, and we talked to Jim Trimble, the coach of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who won the Grey Cup a year ago last fall and then was in the final last fall, tonight we're very pleased to have Bud Grant, the coach of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the reigning Grey Cup football champions. Bud, you might have a word of cheer for the Toronto fans, because in your national final you were trailing by 14 points, and after all the Leafs are only down by 4.
That's true, Tom, but we get them back 7 at a time. They come back here 1 at a time, so I think they got a long way to go in this game.
Not only that, you not only you got them back 7 at a time and went on to win an extremely good game. The Montreal Canadiens, if they go on to win this, will be winning their 4th straight Stanley Cup, and Bud, you have 3 to go to catch up to that record.
It's a long haul. I know how Toe Blake feels. It's really a grind, but I think they got the 4th one wrapped up now, Tom.
Bud, you live in Winnipeg the year round.
That's true. This is our 2nd year in Winnipeg.
Have you had a long-term interest in hockey, or is it since your move to Canada?
Well, being from Minnesota and Wisconsin, I followed hockey through our university, and a lot of Minnesota and Wisconsin boys play hockey, and being in close proximity to Canada, I've always had a great interest in hockey, and of course, since coming to Winnipeg, I followed it a lot closer.
You have a couple of little boys, I believe. 4 children all told,
That's
2 boys?
Right. That's right, Tom.
Are they showing an interest in skating?
Well, 3 of them skate now, and I'm sure they'll all be skating by next winter quite good.
Have you seen a National Hockey League game before tonight?
Oh, yes. I've whenever I'm in down east here, we always try to get in to see one of the hockey games.
What about your own Winnipeg club in the Western League?
Well, we were quite proud of them. They went to the finals in the Prairie Division, and we had a real thrilling season.
You know, Bill Mosienko scored, I think, 258 goals in the National Hockey League. He's 7th of all time, and he's still playing out there. A lot of people would be interested in knowing how Bill is making out.
Well, Bill, of course, is our favorite hockey player in Winnipeg, and he scored over 40 goals this year for the first time in his career, and I don't know when he's ever going to be through. He seems to be getting faster and faster as years go on.
But Al Rollins also played in the National Hockey League. In fact, won the Vezina Trophy one season, and he was with you in the latter stages of the season.
That's right. Al came in, and he had a tremendous playoff series with Winnipeg, and he kept them in there and put them in the playoffs to begin with, and then kept them in there, and he was a real thrill to watch. I know I enjoyed it very much.
Well, but out in Vancouver, I think one of the saddest guys out there and the happiest at the same time was Jerry James. Happy because your club won, and sad because he couldn't play due to that broken leg, and here he is. His other club, the Toronto Maple Leafs, are in the Stanley Cup Final 2. What's the latest report on Jerry?
Well, Jerry is very anxious to be back with us next fall, and his leg is progressing nicely. He's, of course, got the cast off now, and he's just a matter of strengthening those leg muscles up, and he's a fiercely determined boy, and I don't think there's anything going to keep him off that football field next fall.
He certainly has been a determined hockey player as well, and that is quite rare, isn't it, for one athlete to do so well in the major leagues of 2 sports?
Well, that's right. It is a rarity, but those real good athletes, they can do it, and it's a shame because Jerry conceivably could have played on a Grey Cup champion and a Stanley Cup champion in the same year.
Is it not true that a pretty good athlete named Grant played in pretty well the big leagues in both basketball and in football?
Well, I was fortunate, Tom, and hooked up with the Minneapolis Lakers when they won the world title.
You're still playing a bit of basketball, then?
Well, we do that to keep in shape a little bit, not get too fat, when you quit.
You know, when I had Jim Trimble on a week ago, we got talking about predictions, and that always seems to come up with Jim. I compared him to Punch Imlach, and in a sense, you're a little more along the Toe Blake line. Toe isn't too fussy about predictions. But on the other hand, you told me before the Grey Cup game that your team would force the defensive end, Angelo Mosca, out of the game with your particular style of play, and that prediction was correct. So you do make the occasional one. Well, we have to once in a while, but it's quite a comparison comparing me to Toe Blake. He's won an awful lot. Well, Toe doesn't say too much to his players, and or at least publicly, and I noticed you didn't say too much during the Grey Cup. Now, what is your thinking behind that? Well, we didn't have to say too much, Tom. This year, a lot of those boys had been down in Toronto and taken that licking from Toronto, and they were just waiting to get back and hoping that they could get a shot at Hamilton. They were pulling for Hamilton to win down east, and when we were out there during the week, we didn't have to talk too much to them. They were ready to play Tuesday or Wednesday. If we said jump, they'd have jumped right out the window all week. Jim felt that it helps his club and that it helped Punch Imlach's Toronto Maple Leafs by going out on a limb for them and giving them confidence. Would you do the same thing if you had that same type of a club? Well, we may have done that, but this club, they had all the confidence in the world, and they had a great desire to get there. And once they got there, we didn't have to tell them a thing. Are you satisfied, from your point of view, to see Frank Trapuka go to Ottawa, or are you disturbed about all those players that went out to Regina? Well, in a way we're sorry to see Frank go because he always put on a great show in the West, but on the other hand, we hated to see him back to throwing that football because he can throw it real well, and he's going to give this Eastern football, I know, a shot in the arm because he can throw that football. I know that Regina strengthened themselves. I know a couple of those boys are very good football players, and while we're sorry to see Frank go, I'm sure he'll do real well down here. Well, Bud, I imagine the other coaches in Canadian football are hoping you didn't come down here to have a talk with Toe Blake and find out how you keep winning year after year after year. Well, we might get in a little conference with them there, too. Thanks very much, Bud Grant, the coach of the Grey Cup champions here at the Stanley Cup Championship. Bud, I want to bring in Sammy Pollock. He's the director of player personnel for the Montreal organization. He has been the man voted least likely to succeed in Flin Flon, Manitoba, and neighboring territory. Sam is the general manager of at least 3 hockey clubs that I know of, and if they ever get a 9-day week, Sam, you're really going to do something in this game of hockey.
Well, Tom, it's true that I've been all around the country this year, but I thank the Lord that I've been blessed with a great deal of success, and for that I've got a lot to be thankful for. We have some great hockey players in our system, and we have some great coaches and some great men handling those players, Tom.
You have 2 hockey teams in the Eastern Junior Final.
That's right, Tom. We have the Peterborough Petes and the Hull Ottawa Junior Canadiens presently playing off in the Eastern Canada Final, and they're both tied up after 5 games. It's a great series, and we have Scotty Bowman, former player here, doing a marvelous job with the Peterborough club, and we have young Claude Ruel doing the same kind of work with the Junior Canadiens.
Well, I think to get yourself off the spot with both those clubs catching you in the middle, you escaped to Western Canada and took a look at that junior final, did you not?
Yes, on Wednesday night, Tom, I saw the Winnipeg Braves play the Flin Flon Bombers, and believe me, it was some game. I was out in Western Canada earlier in the year, and I saw the Braves play, and I liked them very much, and I told a lot of people back east not to be surprised that they saw the Memorial Cup final. They're a game away from that, and they play in Winnipeg tomorrow afternoon, and I feel that unless some of those great players like Berenson and Pennington and Meisner come to life for Flin Flon, that Winnipeg's going to represent the West this year.
Sam, I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to burst with pride over your favorite protege, Ralph Baxter.
Well, that's a nice thing.
You can't do it in 30 seconds, can you?
That's a nice thing to ask me tonight, Tommy, because he's got a goal and 3 assists, and there's only been 6 goals scored in the game. But naturally, that's my biggest thrill, to see him do so well. I know it must be for his parents watching back in Kirkland Lake, too.
Thanks very much, Sam, and when you go out to Flin Flon or Winnipeg, why, keep your guard up.
Thanks very much, Tommy.
Sam Pollock. Well, now, one of hockey's great families who never really played the game are, of course, the Hewitts. Billy Hewitt Sr. Was one of the real pioneers of the game with the Canadian Amateur Hockey Association, connected with Maple Leaf Gardens and the OHA. To try and introduce his son, Foster Hewitt, is kind of like trying to introduce the Rocky Mountains. He's just part of Canada. I really can't imagine anyone ever in his field, radio or television, attaining the same prominence that Foster has attained. But if anyone can do it, it might be his son, Bill, who's on his far right. I don't know who's the boss now. I know Bill is the manager of the Hewitt radio station, CKFH in Toronto. Who is the boss? Who's going to interview who here?
Well, there's really no boss in our family, Tom. We have the greatest respect and admiration for W.A. And we feel that he's made a tremendous contribution to sport, particularly hockey, across Canada. And Bill and I are more or less behind the eight ball in that respect, trying to emulate him in a very minor sort of way. So that's our main ambition, to try and make some little contribution to sport and keep the high standard that Father has set for us.
Well, Foster, you have stepped aside as the play-by-play announcer except for the World Tournament, and Bill is now doing the play-by-play out of Toronto. And Bill, according to my arithmetic, that puts you behind 2 8-balls or a 16-ball. It must be. You've got 4 shoes to fill.
That's for sure. Although I am very fortunate in that I was able to spend a few years beside Dad and listen to him so I could pick up a few pointers.
When you say a few, how many is that?
Well, that's going back to 1936.
How old was he when he started?
He started when he was 8 years old on Young Canada Night. I think it went back to 1936. And Bill has been sitting beside me for all that time. And now this year, I'm sitting beside him. So that's life, isn't it?
It certainly is. It's progress. Foster, how many play-by-play games within 1,000 did you do before you stopped this year?
Well, I'd have no idea as to playoff games, Tom, but taking the
just hockey
total,
games, I'm sorry.
It's a 28 period on the national network, and I would say it's well over 5,000 games. Now, that covers, of course, junior hockey, senior hockey, and professional. So that's a lot of talking.
What about Billy? This is your first year regularly in the National Hockey League, but you've been doing them for several years in the Toronto area. How many have you done?
That's right, Tom. I started actually doing the play-by-play of the Maple Leaf home games last year on radio. This year, of course, it's television and radio. But I started broadcasting all junior doubleheaders at Maple Leaf Gardens back in 1951. I also followed the Barrie Flyers to the Memorial Cup. I did their season up in Barrie, so I would say that I'd be up to close to 1,000 by now. I know last year, counting the NHL games, I think, and the junior, which included the Eastern Canada Junior Finals, was pretty close to 96 hockey games.
Have you taken the opportunity to point out to your father that this year, with you doing the play-by-play, the Leafs made the Stanley Cup final?
It was quite a thrill for me, actually, Tom, because it's the first Stanley Cup playoff I've ever had the privilege of
And they're going to be in a number of others, too, from now on. You can bet on that, Tom.
I would think so, and I'm sure it's been quite a thrill for the hockey fans all across Canada who have heard you and on occasion seen you, Foster, you for so many years, and Bill more recently, Foster and Bill Hewitt.
Thank you very much.
And in a moment, another wonderful play-by-play announcer, Danny Gallivan, with the play-by-play of the third period.
Remember, I was telling...
Montreal Canadiens 5 and the Toronto Maple Leafs 1. And as yet the teams have not put in an appearance, neither have the officials, so we are perhaps 3 or 4 minutes away from the start of the third period. And as the fans, many of them far back into their seats, preparatory to the start of the third period, there seems to be much more buzzing than you would find when fans ordinarily file back after going out for a few minutes between periods. And this is due to the fact that they know now in the third period, if the Montreal Canadiens, and here they come, so are the officials, the Leafs will put in an appearance right here below us, if the Montreal Canadiens should hold on to the lead or any part of the lead they now have, then at the end of 3 periods of this hockey game, they will have won the Stanley Cup. But these fans know, too, that this Toronto team is a team that has tremendous fight. Punch Imlach, we might say, has fashioned a three-dimensional team in Toronto this year, a team of determination, dedication, and desire. And they have come from behind great odds previously and have come surging on. So these fans, of course, are aware of that fact. And Toe Blake of the Montreal Canadiens pointed that out to his team at the meeting today. Remember that you're playing against a team with great desire and determination. And regardless of what type of a lead you might get in a game, in effect, Toe told them, never take it easy. So now we'll have to see what develops here in this third period. The Canadiens, with 3 goals in the first period and 2 in the second, have scored a total of 5, and the Maple Leafs with their 1 goal in the second period. Eddie Powers, the referee, checking the lights in the north and south ends.
And we'll be underway in just a moment. Canadians sent out one line. They took it off, and now they bring on Backstrom, McDonald, and Jeffrey on. Olmsted, Fulford, and Stewart on for Toronto. Stanley cleared it to Olmsted. He fires it in, and Turner, number 11, rounding out an outstanding year for the Canadians. Lost it. They sent it right out in front to Olmsted, and he missed the top corner. Now Horton to the side of the net to Stewart. Canadians clear it down the ice. And the Leafs, knowing that they need goals to get back in there, go to the attack very quickly here in the third period. Stanley fires it out. Fulford coming out over the line. A pass to Olmsted on the left side, broken up by Jeffreyon. Here's Jeffreyon coming in with Backstrom. And Stanley slides it to the point. McDonald fires it back in there. Stanley on the left wing boards to Olmsted. Olmsted, a pass to Fulford at center to the Canadian line, and Harvey knocked it out to center ice. Horton scooped a left wing pass to Olmsted, who turns around to get away from Jeffreyon, passes it back near his own line, and it's Horton, number 7 for the Leafs, ahead to Stewart. Stewart has to go back into his own zone. Clearing it to Stanley, ahead on the left wing. Fulford takes it, a long shot, an easy save for Plant. And now the Leafs are making changes as the play goes on. Pocket Richard over to Moore, back on the right side to Henry Richard. He cleared it on an open left wing. And Armstrong up with Duff, who takes it into the Canadian zone. A hard shot wide. Provo starting out with Pocket Richard to the Leaf line. Provo is shot. Goes off Moore, going in for the rebound. Shoots again. And Bauer had to make a fine save from the short side. Out at center ice, the puck rolls. Now Pronovo of Canadians swings on the right side. His shot is knocked down, picks it up, cleared it over. Here's Provo working his way in for the Canadians. He's tied up by Brewer, a backhand dribbler. And Bauer cleared it to the corner. Now Brewer and Provo slap at each other as they get up. Bond, left wing pass. Duff couldn't get anywhere. Recovered up on the left wing by Brewer. Brewer works the center ice. To the Canadian line, swings over on the right side, dumps a shot right in front, and that one almost found the target. Provo around the net for the Canadians. Left wing pass to Pronovo, who fired it on the boards to center. Bond knocking it back in. And we've played over 2 minutes in this, the third period, with the Canadians leading the Leafs by 4 goals, 5-1. Bond firing it back in. And Johnson takes it behind Plant. He's being watched by Creighton. Slides a pass out to Provo, down at center with Goyette and Pronovo across the line. Goyette goes to the corner for it. Played it on the boards to the side of the net. Bauer has trouble with that loose puck. It rolls in front again. And it's cleared back to the point. Here's Johnson closing in for the screen shot right in front of Provo. And Bauer took it off Provo's stick. So Provo has had some great chances here in this third period. Claude Provo. Jack Adams, the general manager of the Detroit Red Wings, says Claude Provo, the most underrated hockey player in the National League. Pocket Richard, number 16 at center. Bonin and Moore on the wing. Eamon, Mahavlich and Harris for the Leafs. Canadians are leading the Leafs 5-1 here early in the third period. Eamon swings out, a pass to Harris, number 15, in on the right side. Back to Eamon, going in, he shoots, and a great save by Plant. Jacques Plant has been sensational on some of the Leaf rushes, and that's the second time, Frank, he has taken Eamon.
Third time, Danny. He got him twice in the second period and once here. And I'm afraid that if the Leafs were to lose this one tonight, Eamon is going to have that Plant on his mind all summer, because he has certainly been stopped 3 times on very close-in attempts by Plant tonight.
Canadians 5 and the Leafs 1. Into the corner, Harris trying to center it. Harvey takes over, sidesteps Harris, works on the left side, waiting to make a pass out on the left wing. Bonin. Now the pocket coming up on it, offside. Called against Pocket Richard. Nearing the 4th minute mark in the third period. Olmsted is coming on. Pulford and Stewart, Bond and Brewer on defense for the Leafs. And Toe Blake sending out the line that has been the hot one for him of late. Backstrom, McDonald, and Jeffrey on. And Talbot face off at the Canadian blue line. Bond cleared it off the right wing boards. Talbot picking his way, fired it ahead, and Brewer, number 18, turning at the Toronto line, slides the pass to Bond. Ahead to Pulford, who fired it on the boards into the Canadian zone. Johnson to the other side. Pulford takes his shot. He hit the side of the net. Stewart trying to jam it clear as Johnson was assisting Jacques Plante. Leafs every man up for the draw. Johnson around the net. From the corner, a pass goes to McDonald. He controls it now, goes to center, plays it into Jeffrey on the wrong wing. He backhands it over the top of the net. Olmsted laying it out. Pulford fired it ahead. Now Backstrom coming back in. Here's Backstrom getting set, and that one went right off the heel of the stick. Into the corner on the boards, Brewer. Being watched by Backstrom, runs into Backstrom. Bauer has to take over and hand it off to Bond. Bond at the side of the net, gives it to Pulford up on the wing. Talbot slapping it ahead, and now Bond again. Clearing it to Stewart, who was bumped by Talbot. Bond's pass intercepted by Jeffrey on. Jeffrey on to Backstrom. Backstrom circling around through center, turns, goes the other way. Backhands it in. Goes to the corner. And Canadians changing as the play goes on. Olmsted on the right wing pass to Stewart to Pulford. To the Canadian line, back to Stewart. Stewart near the corner, rolled it to the side of the net. And Talbot running out for Canadians. Down with Provo and Goyette and Pronovo. They shoot it off to the corner. Provo off the boards around the Leaf net, goes to the other side. Getting set for a pass back to Johnson, who's closing in. And it's to the short side. Bauer kicking out a rolling puck. Now Johnson again at the point, winding up for the shot. He was wide. Stewart taking over. Olmsted and Pronovo high sticked each other. Well, the offside stops the play. But the referee, Eddie Powers, keeping a close eye on Olmsted and Pronovo.
Time beginning to run out on the Leafs, less than 15 minutes to play, and yet when you say time is running out on them, that is not really too true, because time is on their side. They almost didn't get into the playoffs this year, yet here they are fighting to stave off elimination in the final round, and time is on their side. They're a young club. They're going to be a good one for quite a few years.
Duff ahead to Armstrong. Pass grabbed up by Goyette. Goyette runs into Creighton, gets it to Provo. A shot off to the corner. Armstrong covering up for the Leafs. Dropped it in the corner, centered back to the line. And Canadians can't keep it in. Talbot turning around. It's 5-1 for Montreal. Canadians coming in. Goyette, a jamming session. Now Provo picks it up, takes the hard shot. Loose puck. Horton is down on that ricochet off Stanley. It went to him on Provo's shot. Harvey and Turner coming on defense for the Canadians. And we've played 6 minutes and 8 seconds in the third period. 5-1 for Montreal. Duff gives it to Horton. Horton starting out on the line to Armstrong, ahead to Creighton. Creighton going in, gives it to Duff. Duff swinging in front. And Harvey comes up with it for the Canadians. His pass fails to get out. Armstrong fired it to the other side. Provo coming up with Goyette. Provo winds up for the shot, and he's away wide. Armstrong on the right side at the point. Turner slapped it back into the Toronto zone. Here's Duff skating in front. He's knocked down, and Stanley cleared it to the corner. Puck goes out over the line. Duff takes the left wing pass into Canadian territory. The shot off Harvey, and high in the air, Jacques Plante reaches up and grabs it and skates to the side.
Jacques Plante coming up with the first baseman stop on the high shot, and just the other day, Jock was saying that he doesn't plan on playing any baseball this year, and right at the moment, Punch Imlock is wondering if maybe it wouldn't be better if Plant were playing baseball and hockey because he stopped them here tonight.
Punch Imlock, who today was selected by the Hockey News as the top personality in sport in the 1958-59 season. He certainly rolled into the limelight with his work with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now Eamon clearing it in front of Billy Hires. He shoots. There's going to be a penalty here, I think. Harvey going off. Elbowing, I think. Jacques Plante came up with a big save. It's a holding penalty. Holding penalty against Harvey. As that puck was passed into Harris in the short side in very close. Doug Harvey picking it up.
Canadien penalty, Doug Harvey. 2 minutes for holding. The time, 7 minutes and 3 seconds.
7 minutes and 3 seconds in the third period. Harvey of Canadiens for holding. Provo is holding up proceedings as he gets a new stick. And the Leafs sending out their big guns, Mahovely, Olmstead, Eamon, Brian Cullen on the left point, Big Armstrong on the right point. Donnie Marshall, a penalty killer deluxe. Up front with Provo, on defense it's Turner and Johnson. Now Mahovlich around the Canadian net. Stops, still has it. Getting set. Goes back to the corner. Now he passes it back to the point, and Provo fired it into the center ice area. And Brian Cullen is back there for the Leafs. Gives it to Eamon. Eamon, who has had some great scoring opportunities for the Leafs tonight. A left wing pass to Mahovlich. Back it goes to Bert Olmstead. Olmstead couldn't control it. Now Donnie Marshall gets it down on the left side. Down the ice it goes. And Brian Cullen goes back after it. 7 minutes and 40 seconds have gone by in the third period. Canadians leading 5-1. Mahovlich swinging in on the right side. Couldn't get anywhere against Turner. Now Armstrong taking a try. Got away from Marshall's check. Going in on the line. Stick handling neatly back to Olmstead. Over to Eamon. Eamon loses it to Donnie Marshall. Marshall coming out with Provo. Who takes the pass in on the right side. And Provo lost it. Got it again. Into the corner. Jammed in on the boards by Armstrong. Armstrong cleared a left wing pass to Olmstead. Olmstead dumped it to center. Fulford jammed out of the play, and Turner shoots it down the ice. And Bauer stops it at the side. Canadians are making changes. Moore is coming on as Provo goes off. And we're nearing the 9th minute mark. Olmstead in on the line. That's knocked off his stick. Armstrong turned around. Olmstead again, a pass to Fulford. Fulford couldn't get anywhere against Turner, and the Leafs are having difficulty getting in on Plant as they have the odd man advantage. Now then, Harvey has 15 seconds of his penalty remaining. Stewart picks up a loose puck. Cleared it over the other side. Now Dickie Moore coming down across the Leaf line. Fakes the shot, getting in close. He hit the goal post with that one. A beautiful play by Dickie Moore. But he hit the goal post. Now Harvey is back on. Puck lands behind the Leafs bench among the spectators. Dickie Moore made that shift as he faked the shot. Moved in closer, let it go. Punch Imlock. Of course, not happy at this particular moment, the way things are going. But he can look back in this season, regardless of how this series ends, whether it ends tonight, next Tuesday, or next Thursday. He can look back upon this season as one that has been an exceptional one for him personally. Spent a lot of time in the minor leagues where the men in minor hockey looked upon him always as a sound man, a great judge of hockey talent. And when he got his chance in the National Hockey League, he really moved to the front. He was, throughout the year, a prognosticator of no mean magnitude. Often he called the shot. Now the face-off in the center ice area. Provo on the right side winds up for the shot. Waist high, stopped by Bauer, cleared it into the corner. Stewart in there with Pronovo. Now it's centered in front, and Stanley takes it away. In on the boards, he's ridden by Goyette right against referee Eddie Powers. Now Horton working from the corner. Swings around to get away from Goyette. Canadians are leading 5-1 here in the third period as Horton comes out. Across the line at center with Billy Hers, and Hers couldn't get the pass. Now the Leafs keep it in there. Here's Hers going in. Fakes the shot. Back to Horton, the screen shot. Canadians breaking away. Andre Pronovo coming down in on the right side. A backhand drive, the rebound. And Horton takes it to the corner for the Leafs. We now have less than 10 minutes, 9 minutes and 55 seconds to go in the third period. Dickie Duff coming out over the line at center with Billy Hers and Stewart. Duff is stopped by Talbot and Johnson. And Canadians. Pronovo, a pass to Goyette. Down with Provo across the Leaf line. Now here's Andre Pronovo going in close, the backhand drive. And he was off the target. Leafs coming out, 3 of them. It's Duff with Hers and Stewart. Stewart now goes off for relief. And Canadians leave the puck there as Provo couldn't make his pass. Carl Brewer turning around at center. On the right side, a backhand drive. Johnson on the right wing to Provo. And Brewer takes over for the Leafs. A right wing pass to Armstrong. Armstrong over to Creighton. Creighton a backhand drive. The rebound in front. And it's cleared away by Jeffrey on. Creighton after him. Back it comes to the point to Brewer over to Bond. Bond closing in for the shot. Into the corner it goes to the side of the net, bouncing. Armstrong in there for the Leafs. Laid it on the boards around the net. Plant himself cleared it. Now Armstrong has it in the corner. He centered it right out in front to Olmstead. And his shot hit Johnson. Jeffrey on. Away on the right side at center. Stopped to pick his way in the clear. Now he's through center to the line. Ran into Bond. Armstrong of the Leafs to the Canadian line. Back it goes to Creighton, a backhand drive. And he hit Johnson. Leafs trying to center it. Here come the Canadians. Out over the line, Backstrom with Jeffrey on and McDonald across the Toronto line. A pass to McDonald, a shot. And it was deflected by Brewer. Jeffrey on to Backstrom at the side of the net. Now Backstrom with one hand on the stick. He centered it in front. And Brewer takes it out of harm's way for the Leafs. Up on the left wing to Harris to Olmstead with Eamon, who takes it going in on the line. Rolling puck. McDonald cleared it to the corner. Leafs getting it. Now it's back to Mahovlich. He scores! Big Mahovlich ripped that one from about 30 feet out. And it went between Plant and the post. That makes it 5-2. Canadians 5 and the Leafs 2. This game is coming to you direct from the Forum in Montreal. Made a great save. Cleared. Now here's Mahovlich working from the side. Harvey trying to take him out of the play. Moore is taken in on the board. Mahovlich and Harvey. Harvey fall. The scoring play for the Leafs. Mahovlich and Harris and Eamon. Canadians 5 and the Leafs 2. Canadians with Pocket, Richard, Bonnet, and Moore against Mahovlich, Harris, and Eamon. With Bond and Brewer playing up. Turner gets the draw, cleared it out to Bonnet. He's bumped by Brewer. Bond fired it back. Now here's Bonnet going in with the pocket. Bonnet working in on the right side. He rolled it across the goal mouth on a pass. Back to the point. Leafs clearing it up. Pocket Richard goes back into his own zone to get possession. Now he swings the pass to Moore on the right side. Moore down with the Pocket, who picks it up. Pocket centers it out in front. And it comes back near the point. Leafs clearing it into the center ice area as Turner was bumped by Eamon. Now there are 6 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Here's Pocket Richard going in, and Bauer kicked it out. Moore cleared away to the goal mouth, and Bauer knocked it to the other side. Canadiens 5 and the Leafs 2. This game is coming to you direct from the Forum in Montreal. Going in again. They lose puck in front of the net after Plante made a great save. Cleared. Now here's Mahovlich working from the side. Harvey trying to take him out of the play. Moore is taken in on the board. Mahovlich and Harvey. Harvey fall. The scoring play for the Leafs. Mahovlich from Harris and Eman. Canadiens 5 and the Leafs 2. Canadiens with Pocket Richard, Bonnet, and Moore against Mahovlich, Harris, and Eman. With Vaughn and Brewer playing up. Turner gets the draw, cleared it out to Bonnet. He's bumped by Brewer. Vaughn fired it back. Now here's Bonnet going in with the pocket. Bonnet working in on the right side. He rolled it across the goal mouth on a pass. Back to the point. Leafs clearing it up. Pocket Richard goes back into his own zone to get possession. Now he swings the pass to Moore on the right side. Moore down with the Pocket, who picks it up. Pocket centers it out in front, and it comes back near the point. Leafs clearing it into the centerized area as Turner was bumped by Eman. Now there are 6 minutes and 50 seconds to go. Here's Pocket Richard going in, and Bauer kicked it out. Moore cleared away to the goal mouth, and Bauer knocked it to the other side. Here's Henry Richard working from the side. In on the boards, bodied by Vaughn. Armstrong gets in there too. And the play is stopped as Vaughn takes Pocket Richard to the ice. Vaughn is down on his knees. Brewer tried to get at Bonnet, and Big George Hayes stepped in between them. Cole Blake sending out the line of Pronovo, Provo, and Goyette. Now he wants Marshall out there as he takes the towel off Marshall's shoulders. Let's see. He wants Pronovo back on the bench. So it's Marshall on left wing, Goyette at center, and Provo on the right side. Right over the top of the net from the face-off off Goyette's stick. 5-2 the score. The Canadiens 5 and the Leafs 2. Horton giving it to Creighton. Creighton clearing it in on the line, going in. And Goyette takes a pass from Johnson ahead to Donnie Marshall in on the line. Back it goes. Goyette is going right in front, but couldn't get the good shot. Armstrong swinging away from the corner. Goyette knocked it back in there. Stanley being watched by Goyette, gives it to Creighton. Creighton having difficulty. Finally it goes to Armstrong. Armstrong, a long left wing pass. Donnie Marshall clearing it to Provo, and it's cleared ahead with a gloved hand to his teammate. Marshall to Provo, and it's called back for that infraction.
That last scoring play, which brought the Leafs to within 3 goals of the Canadiens, Big Frank Mahovlich, goal number 6 of the playoffs, assisted by Harris and Eman at 12:07. And now we are just coming up to the 15-minute mark here, so a little more than 5 minutes left for the Leafs to tie up this game and possibly send it into overtime.
Long shot by Horton off the boards. Back to the point. Ray Olmus closing in. Loses it to Jeffreyon. Down with Backstrom and McDonald. The 3 of them across the Leaf line. Jeffreyon, a pass to Backstrom. He couldn't swing in front. Out front it comes. And the Leafs Fulford starting out with Olmsted. It takes the pass at center to the Canadian line. Fulford went one way, the puck the other. Now he's in the corner. And Talbot in the corner bumping with Fulford. And that gets a stoppage in play. Face off in deep Canadian territory. Change once again for the Canadiens. Before the game, it was expected that the Rocket would see a lot of action tonight, but he has not been out there as yet. 5 minutes and 22 seconds remaining in regulation time. Harris in the corner, playing it on the boards. Mahovlich getting in front, rolls it back, and Canadians start out. Here's Moore. Down with pocket Richard across the Toronto line. Moore fakes the pass, goes to the corner, bodied by Bond, and Eamon takes in. Eamon rolling it up to Harris, who knocked it to center. Harvey clearing it to Moore. Here's Moore over to Henry Richard. The pocket turns around. He's knocked down. There's going to be a penalty here to Bond. Canadians still in possession. Here's Doug Harvey shooting it off to the corner. And there's the whistle for the penalty to Bond for tripping. Bobby Bond, number 21 for the Toronto Maple Leafs, going off for tripping. Don't forget, Gordie Howe will be on hand at the end of the game with the three-star selection. Now the crowd are hollering for the Rocket. And I think Coach Blake asked the Rocket if he wanted to go on, and I think Morris has indicated that he is not up to it or he doesn't want to go on.
He definitely shook his head no, and Blake tapped him on the shoulder, asking him if he wanted to go on. And I guess Morris wants to watch his mates win this one, figures they don't need him, and he'll sit there and watch it.
2 minutes for tripping. The time, 15 minutes and 12 seconds.
4 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in the third period. Canadians with the odd man advantage, but the Leafs get the draw. Here's Dickie Duff breaking right through, kicked the puck ahead too far, and Plante fired it off on the wing. Armstrong and Duff. Duff on the wing, works back towards center. Now Armstrong coming in on the right side. Talbot shoves him. Leafs in possession. Horton over on the other side to Stanley. Stanley playing it back to Horton. Horton coming through center, going to the Canadian line. A backhand drive. He's wide to the far side. Now Bonin. Canadians are having difficulty getting their attack organized with the odd man advantage. Now they're trying it. Bonin coming in. Breaks through the middle, but knocked down by Stanley and Horton. Armstrong lost his balance. The penalty to Moore for hooking. So the manpower situation has been equalized once again, as it was the case a couple of times in the second period. One team would get the advantage, and then shortly thereafter there would be another penalty.
Le temps 15 minutes 59 secondes. Canadien penalty Dickie Moore, 2 minutes for hooking. The time, 15 minutes and 59 seconds.
15 minutes and 59 seconds, the time of the hooking penalty to Moore of Montreal. So we now have 4 minutes and 1 second remaining in the third period. And unless the Leafs can get 3 goals between now and then, the series will be over. Because right now, Toronto trails Montreal 5-2. Olmsted, Eamon, Mahovlich, and Stewart, all forwards for the Leafs. Provo and Marshall up front for the Canadians, with Turner and Harvey on defense. Pass to Marshall over to Provo. Provo back to Marshall into Leaf territory. And now Eamon swinging away with Olmsted. Mahovlich trailing. Eamon dropping it to Olmsted. He's turned around. A backhand drive. He scores. Bert Olmsted. Tremendous goal. He was knocked off balance on a spinorama play, and he backhanded it in. And now the Leafs have closed the gap to 2 goals. 5-3. Bert Olmsted. So now they're still playing 5 aside. Eamon made that play by dropping the puck.
Toronto goal scored by Bert Olmsted. Assist Eamon. The time, 16 minutes and 19 seconds.
Puck is in the Canadian zone. Johnson being watched by Olmsted. It's cleared on the right wing to Provo. Provo down with Marshall. They clear it into the Toronto zone, and it's grabbed by Stewart. Ahead to Mahavlich. Playing it off the boards to Olmsted. Olmsted hitting the Canadian line. Dropped it to Mahavlich. Mahavlich going in. He hurried his shot against Marshall, and it was near the corner. Now Eamon ties up Johnson. Olmsted gets it. He turns around, centers it out. Johnny Marshall fails to clear it out. Here's Mahavlich going back in. He rolled it in front, and it's cleared out over the line by Talbot. And the Leafs have the pressure on. They need 2 goals now to tie it up. It's 5-3. Mahavlich coming in, knocked off his stick by Provo, and the Leafs now have the odd man advantage with Vaughn back on. And Dickie Duff is on the ice. Here's a pass to Duff. It's going in for the shot. That was juggled. It comes to the side of the net. Duff cleared it to the side again from the corner, and Flaunt held it. So there are 2 minutes and 33 seconds left, and Bauer is coming to the Leafs bench. So it's all or nothing at all for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Whether he's going to stay off, we'll soon know. So Punch Imlach, going right down to the wire, has emptied his net. And he's sending on 6 attackers. Jacques Plante wants time out to adjust the strap on the right pad. And referee Eddie Powers checking closely. No doubt the Leafs will want to know if that is a legitimate reason for holding up activity. On that last backhand drive by Duff, Plante apparently didn't see it in the last split second and had trouble with it. So this is going down to a dramatic wind-up, and Punch Imlach shouting out instructions. Canadians are shorthanded. Moore is in the penalty box. Jacques Plante giving this a real dramatic touch all the way as he is forced to take time out to adjust his pad.
And those Maple Leafs showing us again, as they have in every game in this series, as well as the series with the Bruins, that they just aren't going to give up. And they're going to go all the way with this series if they possibly can. I think if you look back over the 4 games that have been played so far in this series, you would have to say that the Toronto Maple Leafs have given everything in every minute of each game. They just have refused, even in the opening game, which they lost 5-3. They wouldn't quit, and they're not quitting here, giving a tremendous display of team spirit and determination as they try to even this game. No one in the net as the faceoff comes up.
And Canadians have a 2-goal lead, 5-3, and we have about 2 minutes and 33 seconds remaining in the third period. The Leaf net is wide open. Olmsted is late getting off the ice. Referee wants to make sure he's off. The Leafs have Fulford, Armstrong, Mahavlich, Eamon, and Stewart. Duff is out there, too. They have the odd man advantage. Moore has 30 seconds remaining in his penalty. The Canadians clear to the line, not out. Stewart going in for the shot, and he was wide to the far side. Armstrong trying to center it. He's working from the corner, getting in front, takes a shot. Dickie Duff rolls it right in front, and Harvey kicks it to the corner. Leafs coming close off the boards. There's Stewart trying to center it out. He's bodied by Harvey. Moore is getting set to come back on. 5 seconds remaining in his penalty. And now we have 2 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the third period. Canadians 5 and the Leafs 3. The Leaf net is wide open. Bauer is sitting up on the ledge at the end of the Leaf bench. Donnie Marshall getting set to face off against Fulford. Back to the point to Stewart. Stewart gives it to Eamon. Eamon going in for the shot. Now they cleared right in front of scramble, and Johnson this time fired it off to the corner. Now Doug Harvey gets it, cleared it down the ice. Dickie Moore is back on. He's skating back after it. Down he goes. Moore has it. He centers it right out in front, but it was called on the offside. Dickie Moore does not like that call by linesman George Hayes. And he's talking to now referee Eddie Powers. And the clock indicating 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining in this fifth game. And the Leafs facing elimination. And they need 2 goals to tie it up. They're behind 5-3. Geoffrion is coming on for the Canadiens. Face-off will be in Montreal's zone. Bert Olmsted, who scored that third Toronto goal, is coming on. And the target for Canadian players will be that open net if they get the puck. Provo on with Goyette. Ab McDonald coming on, too. Geoffrion is off. Harvey and Johnson on defense. Armstrong, Fulford, Mahovlich, Olmsted, Stewart, and Eamon for the Leafs. Now it's Goyette getting it. Bounces out over the line. Goes to center ice to Mahovlich. Back to his own line. Up on the right side. Here's Doug Harvey getting it. Over to Provo. Provo shoots and he's wide. Off the board. Fulford taking it for the Leafs. He steps behind the net. 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining. Ad McDonald stops it. Now the puck goes to Phil Goyette. And the Leafs get it again. Here's Eamon ahead to Olmsted up on the right side. The Leafs fire it in and race in after it. Now Tom Johnson has to place it to the corner to Provo. Olmsted trying to center it. He turns around, sends it right in front. He shoots. Plot is down. A scramble in front of the net. And Plot holds it out against Armstrong. Well, that was a close one. Right in front. And Plot was able to come up with it, and the clock now showing 1 minute and 8 seconds left in the third period. And from a 5-1 hockey game, when a lot of people thought it would be a rout, it has worked out to a game that's going right down to the final whistle as Punch Imlock has taken out his goalie. He's still behind 2 goals. It's 5-3. Stewart comes off. Harris is on now. Fulford wants to go to the Leaf bench, and Toe Blake standing on the threshold of an unprecedented 4th consecutive Stanley Cup has his lineup. Harvey and Johnson on defense. Goyette, Marshall left wing, Provo right wing. Fulford got a new stick, and he's ready for the fray. Many of this crowd standing up, nobody leaving, over 14,000. Olmsted runs into Provo before the puck is dropped. It's dropped. There's the slip shot. Bond caught it, and Mahovlich jammed into Johnson, and they looked at each other rather pugilistically. 1 minute and 5 seconds remaining. There, the clock shows 1 minute and 5 seconds. High down the north end. It goes to Eamon, a screen shot. Here's Copa turning around. He backhands it around the net. Olmsted has it in the corner, gives it out to Hurst. Screen shot. A loose puck at the side of the net. Now there are 55 seconds remaining in the third period. Eamon going into the corner to Dickie Duff. He's jammed out of the play. Goyette backhands it to the line, not out. Hurst, a screen shot. A loose puck in front. Another shot. And Fulford missed. Now into the corner to Olmsted. He gets it to the side of the net to Fulford. It rolls right to the goal crease. Pond is down, and he holds it out again. What action here in the dying seconds of this hockey game. And we have 34 seconds remaining. 5-3. Canadiens 5. 32 and a half seconds to be exact. Canadiens 5 and the Leafs 3. Armstrong is being sent out. And they're pulling out all the stops. Players leaning forward on their benches. Leafs below us and the Canadiens over the other side. Toe Blake lifts his hat, puts it back on. 5-3. Canadiens 5 and the Leafs 3. Now, of course, in a tense situation as this, the players get a bit fractious and they skate out of position.